it's good though. I think the.
I'll just
Sick.
If I'm looking
Yeah,
at
a little
someone
bit
and
though, right?
talking, I'll just grab it.
Okay.
Chilling.
All right, cool. We're here.
Hello.
We have a special guest. We have four people in. We have Miss Emmy here, our producer, and we are here for the season finale of Garage Sessions Season 2.
Baby.
Yes, we know. It was a short ride this year. Me and Mo, we had great guests this year. We still had a great lineup. I think our lineup was still top tier as it should every year. But we did have to cut it a little short. We had a few trips that we had to go on, and then
as you've probably seen
in this episode, we made a movie.
We did make a movie.
We made a movie. That was the whole secret project. If you follow us personally,
we dropped Easter eggs.
We
in the previous podcast episodes.
I feel like
breadcrumbs.
I feel like we left breadcrumbs almost every episode. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, they were like, "Oh, this project."
Yeah, this project's gonna be sick. But yeah, if you follow us personally, you know that we had our premiere of our film as well. Big shout out, big thank you to everyone that came to that. It was a big move for us. It was a big leap of faith, and we're here just to talk about it. So, if you would like, you all know us, but if you would like to introduce yourself and what your role in this film was, this is what this episode's about. So, just stay tuned, and we'll be talking about movie magic.
Oh yeah.
So,
I'm Brandon. I wrote and directed the movie.
Woo!
And edited just a little.
The mastermind.
Just, you know,
It took me like
just most of the
44
movie.
Yeah, it was.
God, I wish. I wish.
The mastermind. This project wouldn't have been done without this guy. But I'm Dylan, of course, and then I was the director of photography. If you don't know that lingo, it means I was the cinematographer. I was the guy holding the camera, coming up with the shots ideas. Sometimes I didn't hold the camera, but still come up with the shots. And also just had a little brain into the creative process of the movie as well.
Oh yeah.
I'm Emmy. I was essentially the art department. So I'm in the credits as production design, and I also worked very closely with this guy for his costuming.
It's true. My name is Mo. I hope you know. And
I hope they know.
And I produced and acted in Sanctuary.
Let's go, the man.
Yeah.
The myth, the legend.
Yeah,
Yes,
the man who carried the movie.
Unfortunately.
What do you mean?
I'm kidding.
Unfortunately.
I'll kill you.
No, but yeah, we fucking made a movie. We thought it was gonna be a short film, but realistically, it was a 59-minute movie.
Yeah, actually, let's talk about that really quick.
Yeah.
When Brandon
Pitched us the idea.
when we were sitting in my backyard in, I believe it was December or
Of
October,
last year?
or November or December of 2022.
Wow.
And we were sitting in my backyard, and Brandon is like, I want to make something that we can make quickly, easily. The discussion started because we were talking, and we were saying we have the major ingredients in-house to make a movie. We have a director, we have a cinematographer, we have an actor. So we should utilize this.
Yeah, and we have the connections of people to make a movie.
And so Brandon was like, I want to make something quick. We can make like low budget with the people that we have. And then he started writing, and it just kept growing, and it kept growing, and it kept growing.
Honestly, I didn't think about that.
And then it went from like should be a 20-minute movie to an hour movie.
No, I think it went to like a 20-minute to like, it could be like 40 minutes. 45. 59 minutes.
What was your final guess? It was like 50 minutes? Or
Mine was my final guess before I saw the final cut was like 50.
50?
50,
Mine
45.
45, yeah.
Yeah, 45.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of the script, what's funny about it is that the first half of the movie is probably like up until like, spoilers. We should also probably say yes.
By the time you're watching this, the BTS is completely out. You can watch the actual behind the scenes of what went down, but we would also and the actual movie. I mean, obviously, I mean, yeah, but you should know, because if you don't, we'll kill you if you watch this before the movie, because this is a complete spoiler movie.
It's true, we know people.
Yeah, we know people. So just watch the movie, but continue.
Yeah, we thought, okay, so the first, I think if I remember in the movie, we kind of categorized it by like scenes, of course. So we called it like Rod games and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Rod games was like a sequence that that was probably like one of the hardest things to film. I feel like that took us like the longest.
I don't think hardest. I think for sure.
Oh, you're right.
Longest. Time consuming. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's a lot of going upstairs and downstairs and shit like that. So, but anyways, in the script, I think that first sequence before he starts gaming is probably like 5 pages, if that.
Yeah.
But in the movie, it's probably like what 10, 15 minutes.
Yep.
Yeah. It's like twice that.
And if you don't know, like movie wise, like 1 page should equal about a minute.
So it'd be a minute, yeah.
But
on average.
On average, but with this sequence, 5 pages kind of like added up to like 10. Yeah. Just on, if you've seen it, it's like a music video kind of, or Rod games, yeah.
Rod? Oh, you're thinking of zigzagging.
Oh, I'm thinking of zigzagging. Whoa, Rod games.
Rod games
we're
is
talking about before Rod games.
Before Rod games, yeah, because it's mostly like I kind of like think of that as just like the silence in the movie for the most part, besides zigzagging, of course. But like the whole portion of the beginning leading up to Rod games is primarily silent because he doesn't really talk to anybody.
Yeah.
Besides like on the balcony.
Yeah. It's like behavior.
Yeah. It's really a lot of behavior before we get into plot. Yeah. I would say, but that was supposed to be like the shorter part, and ended up being like a lot longer.
Before we dive deeper, as the director and writer, would you like to explain what the story is, what the story means to you, because it is a very personal story to you, and then with you adding your personal touch, it made it personal for us. But would you like to go dive deep what the story is about? Give a little elevator pitch, and then like what this story means to you for people that don't know why this is personal.
It's always hard to say what the story's about without giving away anything. I've realized that's one of the hardest.
But these
things.
people, y'all have watched it, so these are the people that have watched it. So
the real question that I kind of had, like the script makes you ask a couple questions, but one of the biggest ones is like, what is a memory worth to you? And I think that's kind of interesting only because like you have like shadow side and you have Rod side. So it's kind of on set, I kind of told Mo that if you cut a person down the middle and you separate them into 2 people, that's kind of what's happening, right? But really, Shadow doesn't believe memories are worth it, right? So he doesn't get anything that Rod does, which is kind of that other part of us that's like, oh, we have to, life is about like getting money. It's about like your 9 to 5. It's about like being
stable,
exactly. But Rod's more on like the artistic side in a way. But really, Rod loves his friends. Rod is like a huge part of like family. He admires things that like kind of make life what it is. It's just 2 completely different viewpoints kind of coming together, essentially. But both of them are trying to figure out why one likes the other and why one doesn't, if that makes sense. So really, I guess the movie is about Rod trying to figure out that question for himself. Because of course, it's throughout the whole movie, you're seeing like continuity problems. You're seeing things that weren't there before that are now there. It feels a lot like a dream, but really it's just Rod trying to figure that out himself.
A life question.
Yeah, but at the same time too, the stakes are high because if he doesn't figure it out, then he's not going to make it through. So I would say that's really what it's about. Not him finding himself, but figuring out like where his place is in life. Because I think a lot of course, the movie came out of not necessarily COVID, but COVID was a part of it for me, like everybody else, where it's like, we don't know. I mean, we've never spent so much time at home before. I don't think anybody ever has. Yeah. And given that all we had for entertainment was something through a screen, I think we kind of forgot what life was like for the most part, but it made us ask really big questions. A lot of us couldn't make it out of that, where getting back into society was actually a little hard, talking to people and everything like that. But it was kind of like depressing. So I think a lot of the idea for the movie came from that, trying to communicate feelings that you really can't communicate. And that's also what I kind of had for Rod. Like, I really liked Rod because he's not like a normal character. I try to avoid like the usual thing. He doesn't really talk about his feelings. And if he does, he's really vague about it, which is, I mean, how do you put that into words for the most part, right? And one random thing, we can talk about this later, but one random thing that I was thinking about a couple weeks ago is, there's no like moment where Rod at the end says like, he says like, I can't, one of his last lines is, I can't do that while you're still around. But that's his last line of the whole movie. And it's not like a victory speech. It's not like I'm better now, which like characters usually have, like he's telling the villain why he can't do it, but instead Rod never explained.
Yeah.
And I think his explanation was literally through the tape. And I was thinking about like how that was his only way of putting it into words. And I think that's why this story is so personal for me. Cause like, yeah, like making Brando visions, making art is like the only way that I know how to like communicate properly. I think that's the best way I know.
I'm crying already, bro. No.
Don't cry, bro. I'm gonna cry. We're all gonna cry.
No, it's so good, bro. Like that shit. I forgot what I was gonna say something, but you know, like what you said is for sure how it made it personal for us, because like the way you communicate and like you coming towards me and Mo with this, like at first we thought it was just gonna be like a cool movie, but then when we got really deep into it, we were like, this is it. When was for my question for you is like, when was the moment, or first before that, why did you feel like you needed to do this, and like what made you feel comfortable coming towards me and Mo with this like such big like personal story?
I've never felt the way I felt about Sanctuary. I've never had in a project before, which is why I knew that like we had to do it. Like I think like it felt like it was like needed for sure, especially like for my life. But I think, of course, the poem I think I've told you guys this before, but the poem that came at the end of the film is something I wrote one day when I was having a really bad night. And I was a little intoxicated. Didn't really help. You try, like Rod. You try to get to help, it doesn't. But I didn't really know what to say. It was the same problem of like, you can keep talking about it, but nothing ever really comes out of it, that type of thing. So I just needed to say something. So I wrote that poem, that kind of thing, into the journal. And I wasn't thinking of like a movie. I just needed to say it. And as time passed, I know we were looking for like a movie idea. But kind of like the end of the movie, like that feeling doesn't really go away, no matter how much you try to like fight that and stuff like that. So I still had that same feeling of like, I really still want to say something. It doesn't feel like, it's almost like the craving wasn't satisfied to really express it and stuff. So the more I dove into like Sanctuary and like the Twilight Zone is such a cool show, but it's also like a sad show. Like most of it is surrounded by like isolation. Like so many episodes take place in space, or like on a rock in the middle of nowhere. The characters end up usually trapping themselves in wherever they are. And it's always kind of like the characters in the show are trying to figure out life or trying to figure out specific things. And I guess me watching Twilight Zone for inspiration, I kind of felt like we could really surround like Rod, of course. Rod Serling, by the way, is the host of the Twilight Zone. In case you didn't know, I'm surprised I had to explain that to some people. My mom was like, "Who is Rod Serling?"
Yeah.
I was like, "Well, that's kind of crazy." So
Yeah.
But anyways, no, I think I got a lot of it from Twilight Zone, and I think it was just perfect that show existed. It really like summed up how I felt sometimes, And that final that thing towards the end where it's like the eye of the beholder is one of like, there's a couple like Twilight Zone episodes I just like think about daily. I'm just like, damn, like, yeah. But Eye of the Beholder is one of the most popular. But when I was rewatching it and I heard it and I was like, God damn, we're gonna have to put that in the movie. I think nothing sums up like what we're trying to say more than that.
Brandon's Roman Empire is the Twilight Zone.
Yeah,
dude, it really is.
Seriously,
I
man.
love movies, but that's one show. I watched it. I'm like, they did this in the fucking 50s. God. Oh, crazy.
Their techniques were crazy back then.
No, Rod Sterling's a time traveler. In case you didn't know.
Quick, funny lore about naming the character in Sanctuary Rod Serling. I didn't remember that the host's name was Rod Serling of the Twilight Zone. So when I got the script from Brandon, I think I was in Europe when he sent us the script, and I was like, going to coffee shops and like doing notes in the script and stuff. And I texted Brandon. I was like, "Can we change the character name?"
I remember that debate.
Is it okay if the name isn't Rod? And then you were like, "No, but it's a reference. His name is Rod Serling."
Well, no,
I was like, "Oh, okay."
I remember there was a debate though. After you sent that text, he texted me saying like, "Hey, do we change the name? And like, is it too on the nose?" And I was like, I mean, my response is just, it's your movie, but I mean,
no, after I knew it was a reference. Then I was like, oh, okay, that is cool. I thought you just came up with the name Rod Serling, and I was like,
you're like, what?
Can it be a different name? Can it be something else? Yeah.
No, truthfully, I was gonna change it.
No, he was. Yeah, you were.
As a placeholder. I for sure was thinking of other names.
Yeah, you were.
And then I don't know what it was. Like the more there were some things that I was like, we have to change this. And like through editing, when you're handling a bunch of stuff, it's something you're going to get to. But like a lot of time passes before you get to that eventual thing because you're taking care of other shit. So like, for instance, I had to change things in the timeline to like scene wise, but I was focused on color. Right. So I'm like, okay, I got to do this later. And the name wasn't that thing, which is kind of what surprised me. I was like, oh, we're going to end up like changing it anyway. Yeah. But the more we called the character Rod, the more I was like, I kind of like love it.
And the further we got into the process, the more we were leaning towards
Rod,
the Twilight Zone also.
Oh,
like, the further,
like,
at first it was like very vaguely inspired by Twilight Zone, and then by the end of it, it was, this could be a Twilight Zone episode.
Yeah.
No, it's true, because we were opposed to doing, we had this convo of like, should we make the music that's composed for it like that? Because it was mainly going to be like silence, which would have been pretty rough looking back. If they were already kind of like, I'm a little tired, man. That would have been rough. But no, I remember we kind of were going back and forth on that, and I'm happy we made that final call. Yeah,
for sure. Writing wise, what was your biggest struggle writing wise? Like, is there a scene that comes to mind, or is there like, was there just any moment you're like, this whole thing just doesn't work anymore?
Well, I can tell you the easiest one was Shadow, by far. That whole convo, I was with you when we were literally filming. And we had downtime.
Is this when we were filming at the studio?
Yeah,
with Ty?
when we were there, I already knew exactly what was going to be on the page. I was literally like surrounded by really loud noise, but I was just like, nah, I got it.
I remember this. So backstory. This is the time when me and you, for I think it was a complete week straight, we were in the studio. It was Hell Week Hell Week. Basically with Mr. Ty Dolla $ign in the studio every day till like 4 a.m. And I just remember
like 7.
7 and I remember we came out of the studio when sunrise was happening. But I remember every time we had downtime and like Ty was like taking a nap, or like he wasn't doing anything where we can just chill, like he was like writing the script. I remember one of the last days you're like, I'm almost done with it. I think. Oh my gosh! Yeah, you're almost done with the entire script.
Yeah, because it was the end of the convo. Yeah,
it was the end of the convo.
I knew when I heard. So a bunch of 2 random things for writing, and I'll get to the hardest part. But I heard Tangerine and the Rain song during production, and it was really weird because they came to me at random times. And I had never heard those songs before, but they just like appeared. And when I heard Tangerine the first time, I was like, "Holy shit, this is the end!" Like for sure. Keep in mind, these 2 songs are like almost back to back and Almost Famous. I had not seen that movie.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Which I think is the funniest thing still, because every time I watch Almost Famous, I'm like, dude, that's crazy. They were like back to back.
And this asshole made us watch it all together at the New Bev. We all were there, and then the music played, and I
started crying.
Yeah, we all started crying because we all seen like one of the cuts of the movie. Before it was like we had the premiere and everything, and we saw it, and we saw Almost Famous, and we were like, "Fuck you, bro."
Yeah. No, it was.
But that was unintentional, though. You didn't.
I had no idea. I'd never seen Almost Famous until during, I think, post. I think I watched it on some random night. But yeah, no, I would say those 2 I knew for sure had to be in the song. The Rain song to this day is still the best song I've ever heard. I think that's always going to be like my favorite song of all time.
Really?
Anytime somebody asked me, I think that's the most beautiful song I've ever heard.
Wow.
For sure. Pluto's close. Definitely for a different reason.
Yeah, Pluto's
but I think on a composition wise, like the Rain song, the whole song is about like, same with Tangerine kind of, but they're like about reflection. Tangerine's very much about like overcoming. It's I also love that song because like the fact that it mentions reflection was just like, oh my gosh, Shadow Rod, like perfect.
Pretty mid.
Yeah, no facts. Yeah,
I'm just kidding.
Kind of whatever.
I'm just kidding.
Are we talking about Drake?
I'll kill you, bro. I'll literally murder you.
Just like that, Drake's not coming on the podcast.
I'll literally murder you, bro. I'll murder you.
I love this guy.
I'll literally murder you.
Hardest part?
I'm not.
Yeah.
I think the hardest part was I didn't. It was kind of tough though. One of the hard things I was battling with a lot is that I didn't want Sabrina to be a character.
I remember this conversation.
I just didn't want the girl to be in it. Yep. I just wanted her to be something that was mentioned.
Yeah, a reflection or just like a
just
memory.
Like something. I wanted something that Shadow could pin on Rod for sure, just to be like, because like Rod regrets it too, and I wanted Shadow to really like make him feel bad about it.
Yeah.
But I wanted it just to kind of be there, not like just like randomly come up in conversation, so viewers like, oh shit, like you did that, like it's crazy. But then you guys kind of mentioned like we have to see it happen,
Yeah.
and I just didn't want a breakup scene. That's really what I was trying to avoid.
But we have it.
But we do have it, and I'm very happy we did, because I think when we cut back, I wasn't gonna also cut back to anything. That was something I was kind of avoiding too. But I realized like in that moment when you see like Danielle's face was like, oh shit. Like there's like a moment I asked her to do something, which was like she realizes that there's nothing she can do to change it. That his mindset. And she has that, like, you can see it like evolve into it. She like did it perfectly. And I was like, okay, we have to have it. Like, this, we're gonna cut back to it. I think the way that it played out was like what the film needed for sure.
I think the debate was too, because you said in the beginning you didn't want anything with Sabrina, but I think for me and Mo's perspective as actors, and also just moviegoers and stuff, is like I think that's the pinnacle of Rod's downfall, in my opinion.
Yeah, like the beginning of it.
The beginning, or the most what do you call it? The most like detrimental one that we like see. That haunts him most, and I think without seeing that visually, I feel like it wouldn't have caused such a reaction for Rod to see Shadow and have this reaction of that conversation.
Right.
I feel like the audience wouldn't have been able to connect as much with his pain.
Yeah.
If they didn't get to visually experience the pain with him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, just referencing, like, making it obvious without showing, like, a breakup. Like, I think it still would have worked, but the depth wouldn't be there.
I agree.
Like, I think that's just one of the biggest
Looking
things.
back, I'm very grateful we had the brand vision into
that. Yeah, and I think that integrating it, and like what you're saying, you didn't want, in the beginning, you didn't want Sabrina to have such a big, like, role in it, which I think that's the best way to do it, like, not so on the nose.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because I get you. I also didn't want it to be like a cheesy thing where it's like on the nose and a typical like, oh, a breakup scene, but it's like, you see more of like their life and like what they went through. So it's like, I think that was a better direction than we had originally.
And I think the way you did it was cool.
Yeah, I think the way you did it.
One of my maybe top 3 favorite moments from the movie is when it cuts back to Rod in the room, and he's trying to grab the VHS out of the thing. Like that's one of my favorite moments out of the movie, which wouldn't have happened if no breakup scene. So
yeah.
Very true. That's very true.
Yeah.
It's also funny because like most of the movie is personal, and comes from somewhere, like obviously. But I think the romance thing, like I definitely could have romance things that I could put in it, but honestly, that doesn't really like writing it. I wasn't like thinking of particular anything. I also think that's why it's hard, because like when you're writing a scene, I definitely like to go back on like that moment that might relate to it. I don't really have one for this one. I think Sabrina was just kind of like, I need some ammo for Shadow. Yeah, that's really what I want.
But I think, but like what Mo said, I think the way you did it and the amount of time that we did it, because like I said before too, like we all said, like we don't want it to be such a big part of the movie where it's like it loses the whole real meaning behind it. Because people just look at it as a love story and all this, but it's like, I think the way we executed it and the way you wrote it was how it could have gone, like the best way.
Thank you. Yeah, no, I think we definitely went the right direction too. I don't think there's anything I would have like. The only thing I would ever change about this movie, I think, if there was anything, it's just like if I could have had more audio training. That's like the only thing I would have changed. Also, if I had a computer to render out, that would have been sick as fuck.
But that's the beauty of, I think, how we do is movie making on a budget, is we learn these things, and that's like one of the lessons is like you have to deal with the cards that you were dealt with.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean? And we execute as much as we can in the best way possible with what we have. So
I feel like a big part of the creative process is literally trial and error.
Yeah.
Like it's literally like you can't succeed if you don't fail. Like you have to figure these things out a lot of the time on your own. Like you guys didn't go to school, like college for this stuff. Like you didn't have a professor telling you, you need to get this type of computer. This is the software you should use. This is how you use the software. Like, you guys taught yourself and through work learned how to literally make a movie.
Yeah. The only thing we did go to high school for it.
Well, yeah.
Oh, high school, yeah.
You know,
But like
College,
people go to college for like 4 years to do what you guys did without going to college.
Yeah.
And that's something that's like, obviously, maybe the next person would have not had, what's the word?
Experience?
The person that did go to college maybe would not have experienced the same hiccups while making their first movie, but they still would have experienced something.
Yeah.
So I think it's something to be like proud of, being able to say like,
I think,
I did this shit. We did this shit without, like, for the first time without really any help.
That's true. I think the beauty behind it, though, that too, but the big beauty behind it is we've actually worked together before. Not on this kind of scale, but, like, on a high school project, like, because we went to high school for film. But, like, we kind of know how we sort of knew how we operated because we both been on set together. And then me and Mo have actually been on a set together on my film in high school. So I think that was the beauty behind our teamwork behind the creative process. And then obviously just the friendship that we have. I feel like we can be real with each other. That was the one thing. I feel like we're all, like, not stubborn, but we all know what we want, especially you for this movie. So it's hard when you know someone's like that and then you can't tell, like, that person, like, hey, let's, like, the instance, like, the whole breakup scene, like, what if we didn't tell you, like, hey, we need to see it visually? Like, what if we didn't do that?
Yeah,
So, like, I think that was the beauty behind our creative process, is the honesty and the friendship that we have to be like, hey, like, we need to add this. Hey, I remember there was, like, a couple dialogue scenes where I was like, hey, that's a little too on the nose. Like, let's not say that. Let's kind of say something else in a different way.
What do you think? What was our longest debate? Was it the Sabrina scene? I think it was, right? I literally think we were there for like 2 hours talking.
No, there was a huge debate with the line.
Yeah. At the end. I was gonna bring that up too, but I still think the Sabrina one was longer. No, when we were sitting in studio.
No, I think it was the dialogue.
We were sitting in Brandon's backyard, arguing for like
I have footage of it.
Over an hour.
I think we have iPhone footage.
One line of dialogue.
It's not even like one of the heaviest lines. It's just like a line that's there.
It's when Shadow. I got you.
I do.
It's when Shadow looks at Rod and he says, "Wish we could have gone out on a better note." And I can't remember what the original line was. That's what it ended up being. But
no, we swapped it. It was when he jumps into the void, instead of saying "you're here until it's over," you say Shadow says, "I wish we could have gone out on a better note."
Yeah.
So that was gonna be. We wouldn't see Shadow say that. It was going to be in the void, and you heard it.
Oh,
and that's when the monster would have jumped out at you.
And I was saying,
you were saying do it in the kitchen scene before
right
he runs
before
away,
it happens.
making that the thing that ignites the rest of the scenes.
Yeah.
There was another line that was in place, but that was the big one. I was saying I wanted it to be in the void, but no, I'm very.
I feel like the wording was different too, though. I feel like the wording was different.
It was phrased a little bit.
It was the phrasing was a little different, and me and Mo were on your ass about it.
It was seemingly insignificant, but it was the longest debate.
But it also was important too because it leads into the rest of the crazy. So we needed something that led us
we needed that one. Even though it's just one line, that one line is so significant towards the story.
Yeah.
So like that's why you and me, as like the way we say, like if we were because we're both actors, the way we say it, I think what we were trying to tell you didn't feel supernatural.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It was like performance.
I wouldn't be able to know. So
the thing is like that was the beauty of our creative process is like we were, even though this is your story and we know it's your baby, and like me and Mo were still okay with our friendship level that we would tell you this is not how it's gonna go, knowing it's not like on personal shit, like it's on creative shit. I think that's the beauty of finding a crew and finding friends. I think we talked about this last episode, to like find people that are like that push you. I think also just find a team or find friends if you're on a business level, like how we are right now, that you're willing to like, hey, this is not the way to go, or this doesn't sound right, or so I think I think that's, for me personally, I think that was the weight off my shoulders with this project, because I feel like that on other projects where I have these notes, but I have to keep it in because I know they're not going to understand it.
Yeah.
Not that because I know they're going to freak out, but not just because they're not going to understand it and they're just going to be like, no, it's fine, we'll do it this way.
You're not used to how each other communicates.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
like, I think with this movie, and that goes with the whole crew that we were so grateful to have
Yeah, I know that. I was gonna.
on
Yeah.
we'll have to
set
talk about
was
that,
like I was like, with our AD, like, shout out to fucking Kareem, our AD, for being, as an AD, if you don't know, like, AD is kind of like known to be the asshole. But again, it's not on personal shit. It's like, no, like,
until after we wrapped.
yeah, no, but like that, an AD has to be an asshole. Like, he's the one that gets us going, gets us on schedule, like, make sure
And we,
every.
like, need that.
Yeah,
for sure.
like,
especially with us. Not gonna lie, we need like.
Yeah,
an
especially like
AD
we
for
get off
that.
track so easily, but it's like with our crew that we were so, like I said, we were so grateful to have. Like, everyone understood. It's like, this is business. It's a set. We can still have hella fun,
Yeah.
but like when it needs, but when it needs to be on some serious shit, like, we need to get the ball rolling, and that was the beauty, I think, for me with this whole process from,
I do
from
wanna-
start to finish.
I do want to highlight that we were unbelievably lucky with the crew that
Just,
we
like,
had.
Unbelievable.
Everyone we
Crazy.
basically had
Favors.
almost met for the first time.
Yeah.
Almost, like, we maybe
Almost.
whoever brought that person on crew maybe knew them from like one or two other.
Yeah, no,
instances.
it's the thing.
Like-
Like, he knew someone and brought him in. I knew
Yeah.
someone brought him
like
in.
you vaguely knew Kareem, right?
Yeah, I'd worked with Kareem on one set, and that's the only other time.
Yeah,
I saw him.
like-
I
like-
literally
crazy.
saw him, and I remember on set, like, I think he was like responding what the director said. He
Yeah.
would be like, and I think people were starting to be like a little more stressed, but they were also taking a long time on scenes when I was on this set,
Yeah.
and I saw him being like, "Nah, bro, we gotta go, we
Yeah.
gotta go," and I was like, "Oh, I need that. Like, I need your number."
No,
for
like
later, bro."
Kareem,
Kareem,
Chase,
Chase.
bro,
Real one.
Chase.
I
Bow
think
down,
Chase.
bow down.
Yeah, I don't want to
Um,
give. I don't want to give. No. I don't want to like be favorites, but like the true for sure MVPs is for sure Kareem and Chase. Like, without them, like
Yeah,
For
Chase
sure.
is a crazy
The-
one man band.
their positions and like how they do their business is like
yeah, we got lucky not
ridiculous.
only in like good people, like they're good people. The skill level of these people were
ridiculous,
insane.
bro.
Yep.
Even
All of-
honestly, even the PAs that never been like on a movie set or like has
Yeah, they were-
wanted to be like
They were on it. They were learning.
You know
They were
what
on
I mean?
it. Everyone did it for everyone who was on set worked for free. They worked for good vibes and Yoko's cooking,
Oh,
Yeah.
except for Tyler.
except for Tyler. Yes.
But that's
That's-
understandable.
yeah.
He made the
We
monster,
can talk
but
about
he
that,
was
yes.
cracked at it. Like, if it wasn't
Yeah.
for him being
Pretty much the people
Well,
that got
into it.
paid were people who did not come on set. It was all post production stuff,
Yeah.
except for Tyler.
Yeah, extra materials,
Yeah.
or that, or if it was like specialized something for sure, something we needed. Because of course, I don't do audio and stuff like that, so we did outsource for a little bit of the audio design,
Right, yeah.
for somebody that knew that in and out for sure.
for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, for
No,
sure.
our crew, yeah. If it wasn't for them, man, like,
Yeah.
again, if it wasn't for them, if it wasn't for like how we understand each other, us four here, like, I don't think it would be like as smooth as a process as it was.
Yeah, the crew was definitely the glue that held
For sure.
this together.
For sure. For
And
sure.
I'm
Us
sure
four.
it's frustrating to a person that wants to make or like film stuff or not frustrating. Okay, so backtrack. Doing the filming aspect of it, getting the equipment, all of those things. At the end of the movie, we say that it was around $2,000, which I think it was. It was like 25.
20,
I
I'd
think
say
at max.
10. Yeah.
Counting
Towards
counting
the
the
end.
premiere, I think around.
Yeah, counting the premiere. We didn't
Um,
count the premiere.
Yeah. So it was around that, and the thing is, none of that went towards rentals, and that's something we super lucked out on. We didn't do permits, we didn't location permits. So I think somebody
Thank you,
that's watching-
Cinovate.
Thank you, Cinovate.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Cinovate.
Thank you,
Exactly,
Luciano.
exactly.
Luciano,
If-
my brother,
Yeah,
Steve, you're cracked.
Yeah, it's frustrating
I'll
to a
feel you.
person that probably wants to film stuff to be like, how did you do that under $2,000 if I'm like paying like $1,000 for 2 weeks of a red Komodo and stuff like
Yeah.
that. But the truth is, like, it's annoying to be like, we got lucky, but we got lucky for sure. Like having Cinovate, they provided like the FX6 that we shot on. Even though we have the Sony A7S, they provided the Ronin. They provided like
The
a lot of like
monitor,
things
monitors,
that like
director monitors,
Yeah.
headsets.
and keep in mind,
audio.
we didn't have the director's monitor was so important, not only because we could just move it up and down, up and down stairs, but the 2 times that I think we didn't use the director's monitor is when we had shots that we messed up on.
That and the Ronin.
That's so funny.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. The Ronin is
all the messed up shots.
We didn't hook up the monitor for,
Yeah,
and those
yeah,
are the ones that we had problems with.
Yeah.
Like we had something in frame that we would have saw on a director's monitor that since we didn't have it up, we didn't. No.
So talking about that, like how what would you tell filmmakers right now that don't have the access that we had with Cinevate? Like what would you tell those people? Like what would you go about it if they didn't if we didn't have Cinevate, if we didn't have Luciano?
It's so like hard because the answer is like not easy. It's like I think you only have 2 routes. You can either save up as much as you can to be able to rent that equipment, or if you're lucky, you say it's for a client that wants to make a movie and stuff like that. It's more of a paid production. Then you would have to ask the client for the rental money to be able to provide that equipment. Because of course you can use your like Sony A7S. You can make that for a movie, but depending on the scale of the film, you might not be able to do that. You might need something like your client wants it in 5K for some reason, so you're gonna have to get a bigger camera, right? So I think if it's not you saving up and buying that, I think the only thing that you can do, which is so hard, because if you live in like Utah, it's gonna be such an extremely hard thing to do, but it really is finding people that have the same interest. Because if you know a guy that has a red Komodo and he's like, yeah, it's been sitting in my attic for like fucking 2 months, right?
There are people out there, trust.
Yeah, but it's
people
hard
out
because
there.
you can have like the beautiful Maserati, right? But you don't have a racetrack to take it out on.
Yeah.
So
facts.
really, you can have it, and maybe they're struggling with it. But then you're like, I have 80 clients, but I don't have the shit to deal with it, right? You two should work together. That's what you need.
Yeah.
So I think it's like finding those people wherever they are in that small town, or if you're in Cali, they're there for sure. Like, you just have to find that. We're also here.
I want to know your perspective, because I think mine is a little different from your answer, which I agree with your answer. But I think also if you feel like you have a great story, and for me and Luciano talk about it all the time, story is king. If you have the story, film it on an iPhone. If you have no camera, if you have no on the scale, like if it's not like some crazy shit like Sanctuary, obviously. If it's not like that, and if you have a story that is manageable, me and Luciano always say story is king. If you have a story, film it no matter what.
No,
in any shape, way, or form.
Yeah.
We all have a camera right here. You know what I mean?
A 4K one at that.
At that. So I agree with you for sure. But if that person in Utah has tried that, there's no one out there. And if you have a story that you feel that needs to be said, or if you have story is king, I feel like anyone can manage that and make it happen.
No, agreed.
Especially
no, honestly, all that you just said, yes. I agree on that particular thing.
Yes.
If it's not that, I would say I'm opposed to the iPhone.
Especially if you're just starting out too.
Yeah, that's true.
Pick
Like
up a camera and film.
yeah, even
Yeah.
again, like if you've never even like been on a movie set, don't even know what that's like, but if you have a story that you just want to put out, like honestly just pick up your phone, like, and just try it.
Yeah.
See what happens.
No, for sure. And one thing I did like to do is I made a time travel movie in high school. But what's funny is I technically made it twice. I made it in freshman year for a film club that nobody really cared about. I made it on the T6I. I was the main actor. I had another guy that was technically the film guy also as the other character. And we like kind of finished it. I put it together, but because we put that together, it was super shitty. That was one of the things I used to get into OSHA.
No way.
Because he was like, I want story, and I showed him stuff that wasn't really story.
Yeah.
But then I was like, okay, I have this like unfinished thing. It's kind of shitty.
Yeah,
and he was
yeah,
like, okay,
yeah.
I'll look at it. And that's really what it was.
Yeah.
If we didn't make the shitty movie, we wouldn't have known to avoid some of those mistakes for the time we actually got to put it together with like the reds and stuff like that. So really, if you have an idea that like you really, really love, you either can make it in full, make it kind of shitty so that you can find the people to make it better, or do the whiplash approach of making
just about to bring
a
that
scene from this movie that you love. Maybe it's like one of the, not the spoiler moments, but one of the big moments that can catch a person's attention.
Exactly.
Right?
So
do the 2 minutes of that. Maybe it sticks, right? Maybe you don't need movement or something like that. And do that for sure.
Exactly. That's what I mean by story is king. It doesn't matter the quality of it or anything. If you have a story that's really relatable and that's amazing, that you feel that's amazing, and then that will speak for itself, in my opinion. Like, because sometimes I've seen shit on even TikTok, and it's like 2 minutes on their iPhone, and it's like, Yeah, that was crazy. Like the story,
Yeah.
the story was there. The story is there, and then you can learn from your faults. But like, I was just gonna bring up the whiplash approach because honestly, that was our idea for our next movie.
I was gonna say that may be a method that we will utilize soon.
Yeah.
Yes, it will.
A great way to get funding.
Yeah.
A great way to get
Great
funding.
way, but
Another secret one.
That one's not a secret.
No,
actually,
no, that was not a secret.
our next ones are not secret anymore. Do you want to tell? I mean, yeah, like we haven't. Why?
That one? I was talking about yours.
No.
The next sanctuary-sized project will not be for a
secret.
while.
But I'm saying, do you want to tell like why this was a secret? Like we didn't tell his family. Like this is why we didn't promote anything until the premiere. His family didn't know. His sister didn't know. And
None of our families.
None of our families knew. Like this was all secret.
A lot of our families just thought we were like going out kicking it and shit. I think
literally
they're
for
getting
real.
a little worried at a
Just
certain
in the
point.
house for 9 days.
I think but
straight up.
that's
Brandon's
crazy.
house
To
for
think.
9
Yeah,
days
literally
straight.
our not excuse, but every time we'd be like, I think everyone, even when people like got the invitation to the premiere, they were like, all right, this is a student film. Like this is
Yeah.
like
I had
no one-
family members literally say that to my face.
yeah.
They were
So
like, we were on our way there, preparing ourselves for it to be the shittiest short film they have
So
ever
It's
seen.
so valid. So
I expected
valid.
most people, if not all,
So
to
valid.
think that going
I think
in,
I just have such high standards for you guys that I was kind of offended when somebody said that to
Oh.
me. I was like, the fuck?
Nah.
If anything, it makes for a better reaction at the end because it wasn't.
It's true.
Yeah.
Lower the bar. Like,
But you want to tell them why this was a secret for like this is our only project that's or I won't say only, but like
but mainly this one was like under wraps.
under
yeah.
wraps completely.
I was very specific on. So there's no BTS photos posted even yet.
No.
Because we kept it under
Well,
wraps
when
for
this
so
is
long.
up,
When this is up, yes.
when this
but
episode is
at the time
uploaded.
we're filming this, there's still not BTS photos. I kept it a secret for a couple of reasons, and one of the biggest ones was a lot of this project involved my family in one way or another. So of course, like the tapes that played during Pluto. Off the rip, Pluto is one of my sister's favorite songs. I knew going into it that this was going to be the song for sure. Fun fact was also kept a secret from these guys for a while, honestly.
Well,
Until we shot it.
Until we shot it. That's so true, yeah. But you saw it,
no, I
a week
saw
before?
it. I was the first one. I was the first and only one to see
Yeah,
it.
you
You
did
wanted
see
my
it first.
opinions on the
I wasn't going to
Yeah.
show anybody shit until
Yeah.
that night of, and then I was like, okay, I want to make sure, like, there's nothing that could be better. So I did show it
So
to Dylan.
he showed me, and I tell you, that night, holy shit, that was a night to remember, brother.
It was so frustrating not only keeping that part a secret for so long, but also because every time I heard Pluto, so this is how I write in a way. I imagine the movie and then I don't write it until I usually know what the scene's going to consist of, if that makes sense. So like you map out like for this next movie, I'm mapping everything out, and then once I have it, it'll probably take like a week to like get that first draft.
Yeah.
It won't take very long because I've already written it, right? It was the same way for that video. Like I knew exactly. My family gave me tapes to digitize, but they never had officially seen most of the footage, right?
Mhm.
So granted that I've already done that, and I knew what tapes that we've all had hanging out together. I could have already visualized what that was going to look like, and I had it for months. So every time I heard Pluto, I was just like, "Oh, don't cry, don't cry." Like I literally and again, I've never had that for a project where like I've cried to myself just like seeing the idea, or like knowing what it's going to look like.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was hard to keep that shit a secret from you guys. I would say that's one of the hardest parts for sure.
Yeah.
My sister was like, "Oh yeah, we'll stay in the house while you're filming. It'll be
like,
chill." And I was like, "She cannot be here because even if she's sleeping, she's gonna hear Pluto play 5 times downstairs."
Yeah.
She's gonna be like, "What the fuck is in this movie?" Yeah.
Where's that coming from?
Yeah, no, for sure. So that was the hard part, and like, same with my parents. Like, again, they never saw those tapes, and I think that was one of the biggest parts. Like, they'd seen the tape of the first 2 clips is, I believe the first one's me being born. The second is my sister meeting me. They'd seen those 2, but they'd never seen the other ones. Which it wasn't even until like after the fact that I even realized like my mom even was like, "Oh yeah, the one of the people in this part of the video had like passed away. I guess one of my family passed away at a certain point, and she was close with them.
Wow.
So I didn't even realize that how that felt for my parents.
Wow.
But yeah, they had not seen a lot of it, and I think I didn't really. A lot of people thought that we were just kind of. I've been doing music videos, portrait shoots, and stuff like that for like the last couple years, and I've always wanted to do films, obviously, but I think a lot of people were like, "Oh, he's probably just doing model shoots and shit like that." But I think another part of like me keeping it a secret was like, "No, I just want to like keep it a secret and then just show you what like we made, you know, just to show it, like not going to be like, oh, something big's coming." Like we kind of did that, but we didn't really tease it.
We never promoted it. I mean, if you watch the podcast, we always say we were working on a project, but
it's mostly Dylan that said that.
It was mostly me. But like we never said on what kind of scale. We never like really said like what it is, like how big we think it's going to be, but
I think it showed. I wanted it to show like how much like we cared about it.
For sure.
Like it was a really, really hard thing to do. Cause I wanted to just like, you know, I know all three of us like, or four of us. Sorry, I know how frustrating it is to like, be when my sister would come in the room because she hangs out with us all the time. Like we're about to say something relating to a spoiler of the movie, and then we're like,
oh, Brandon's
and
like, Brittany is entering the room. Everybody shut up.
I had to say this every time. Yeah,
every time.
I mean, literally one time, me and Dylan were in the room with Brittany, and Dylan.
Oh my!
I didn't even know what he was gonna say because he said a couple of words and he went. And then just fully walked out of the room. Fully walked out of the room.
It was.
I think it was about Pluto.
It was when you were on the phone. When you were on the phone
with my roommate.
With your roommate with the husky.
Yeah.
And she was asking, "Who's he on the phone with?"
And you were gonna be like, "It's the guy from Pluto."
I was gonna say it's the Asian guy from his house.
Literally left the room.
Yeah. Oh my god.
But yeah, when you watch Sanctuary, the Pluto scene, when you're watching Shadow, that is the first time I am seeing that.
That is a real
video.
reaction. That is a real.
Brandon didn't show any of us.
That is a real reaction. You will see it in the BTS if you watch it. Hopefully, we got it of everyone's reaction. But
I would also like to note that I'm on the floor about 7 feet behind Mo,
and she's
tucked
like this.
into the corner, out of frame, bawling my eyes out because we watched it for the first time. Like they were literally filming the scene, like he just said, and I watched it for the first time.
Everyone
off camera, and everybody on set. But like, I don't. It was that song's ruined.
Something.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'll go after.
Another fun, quick lore fact is that the first shots of Emmy in the Pluto sequence was from the first day that we met in person because we had been online friends for years. But
that's crazy.
Yeah. Thank you, Epic Games, for creating Fortnite.
Thank you, Epic Games. Shout out Epic Games.
That's crazy.
Shout out Fortnite.
That's
also
so crazy.
Fun fact. Well, actually, I don't know if this was mentioned in a previous episode, but that was really important. But it's funny because that was the first ever day I met Mo. That was not the first ever day that I met Brandon and Dylan.
That's right.
Yeah. I had known them for like 2 months over video games when I had moved to California. And I hung out with Dylan and Brandon without Mo.
I couldn't hang out that day.
He couldn't hang out that day. But I'd known Mo for like 5 years. That sucked for him.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's crazy. All right, so I want to go to now.
Well, let's ask the camera guy some questions.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Ask me. Go. Shoot.
Wait, you wanted to say something, didn't you? Me? No, Brandon.
I was just gonna say that so I didn't I've cried 1,000 times to this video. So I
cry every time, bro.
It's still really hard. At random times.
Song anymore.
No, it's not even on
my
life. I took it off my playlist, bro. Not gonna lie.
It's like the opposite.
No, story of my life.
Literally
story of my
life.
life.
All my other closest friends and people that I spend a lot of time with now know, and they may not even know the reason. Whoever watched Sanctuary did. They now know to skip the song whenever it comes up. If I'm in the room, I will be like, skip it.
But in a good way. It's not like in a good way.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to cry.
Because it hits.
Literally.
For me, there's a song that there's a Daniel Caesar song that I cannot hear because of my ex at all. But that's because of bad reason.
Yeah, but sometimes.
Bro.
I apologize.
Do not disturb.
Do not disturb.
My phone there was a timer.
Okay, but like it's good like I have that breakup like that song because I just hate that song now. But this song is just, I know I'm
hits.
going to cry. It hits,
Yeah.
like, in a good way, and I can't do that
I-
every time,
I
bro.
see
I dealt with that
the
for so long. I
montage.
cannot tell you the stress I fucking
Yeah,
faced
bro,
because
I
of that.
can't do it.
And we had, it's funny because we had for sure played it while it
played
was a
it.
secret.
Wow, yeah.
While
I
it
was
was a
drunk
secret.
once, and I was like, "Oh fuck you guys!"
Yeah.
Oh my god! I was like, "Fuck!"
Ken
And
just,
I
like,
think I
didn't
was
know.
mid editing it too, so I was like, "Oh my gosh, bro!" I was like, "You guys are killing me." Also, random fun facts: the stuff that you see of Ferris Bueller, Dazed, most of like what you're seeing is it either comes from official like VHS tapes, so like all of those movies came from VHS tapes. Most of the footage, besides like maybe like 10% of it, came from a VHS tape. Besides the little mini recorder I have. But no, I was gonna say on this night, like I was like I was low key gonna bawl. But we had that one interruption of something very random happening on this night where my neighbor was not happy with our filming, which
my
kind of took me out of
gosh.
it. Not gonna lie, that one like kind of changed my mood for the night.
Yeah.
But no, I low key like teared up because I was telling. They also didn't know about the lighting cue. I don't think.
Yeah,
I think you did.
I did.
But we had replaced there's 6 lights in that living room, in the roof, and I asked Chase to replace them all with remote controlled lights so that
Yeah.
they would all strobe on the cue of the song when it hits that certain part. And no, when I was telling him, I was like low-key tearing up, just like talking about it, and I was like, oh my gosh, I was like, yeah, so they're gonna hit at this moment, and I was showing him the tape, and I was like, oh my god, fuck yeah.
Bro.
But anyways, yeah.
I remember that night. So like, I remember when your first reaction of it and the first watch of it, because we did multiple takes, obviously. But the first reaction, like, everyone was like, we all like, it was silent. We hugged each other, and I tried to make a speech, and that shit failed because I was just
his eyes out.
yeah.
That shit was hard. No,
Dylan was like literally rolling on the floor crying. I'm just kidding.
I mean, you can fucking probably
we had
say
to move
that.
camera.
I'm just
yeah.
kidding.
No, but I remember like I wanted to say something because it was such a big night for us, because it was also, I think, it wasn't the last night, but it was definitely one of the.
It was the last.
It was the
big
last
night, I think.
last big night when
Yeah.
it was like 2 a.m., 3 a.m.
Yeah.
And I just remembered all the people that I wanted to be there crew wise was there besides this fucking guy. Milad wasn't there. But I know Luciano was there. Chase was there. Everyone was there that I wanted it to be there. And I was like, okay, I need to say something. And then couldn't say something and just was choking on my fucking
valid.
tears.
Oh, I know how you feel, bro. I
Yeah.
know how you feel.
Last bit for me from the Pluto sequence, but like literally 10 seconds into the first take. So
I was showing him
I'm
the
seeing
BTS.
I'm seeing Pluto, this whole sequence for the first time. 10 seconds after it starts, the black contact falls onto the floor out of my eye.
Does it really?
The slap.
We had
sound
to
effect
stop.
was really
We had to
funny.
stop and start it over.
Oh,
The first time all of us are seeing it, literally, like,
First
I
take.
think the first clip of Brandon being born was shown, and then the clip of Brittany meeting you,
Yeah.
and then it
It
fell out
was
of my
so-
eye.
yeah,
It fell
yeah.
right out of your eye.
And we cut right away. I remember, and then when
Yeah,
I was
it's just so funny. That was
pissed.
the first
I was
first
pissed.
fucking shot. We were like so much dependent on that first take, and the fucking contact was like,
Hey, but
do it,
good.
bro.
Hey, but good thing though. I think at that time the song didn't even come on. Right? It was raw audio.
Yeah, it was just the lyrics.
Yeah. So you
Just the
didn't.
lyrics. No, the lyrics.
Oh,
though. No, the
really?
lyrics, though,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
I don't know for sure. I remember.
Yeah.
because once it
I was
starts,
livid. I
Damn.
was living.
That clip is really funny. It's gonna be in the BTS.
Yeah,
just so you
okay,
know.
great,
I
okay, good.
actually the only footage I've seen from the BTS mainly was like the first before we did the first shot where everybody was moving into the house and that scene.
That's
Yeah,
crazy.
I've seen all of that.
Nice.
BTS.
Yeah.
Nice.
All right,
Okay,
Dylan.
questions
Oh
for,
yes.
for Dylan.
Oh what?
What, in your opinion, was the hardest thing to film? What was the one thing that you were struggling with? And let's put Ronin aside. 'Cause that had its own issues.
Okay.
But
For everyone that doesn't know, a Ronin is like
oh, thank you so much.
It's a gimbal.
it's
like
a handheld.
Nobody's
Stabilizer.
gonna know what a gimbal is. If
You-
they don't
you-
get it right.
You attach the camera to
Shit.
a Ronin, and then it is a handheld rig that stabilizes the camera. So
Stabilizer.
you can
Yeah,
like run
yeah.
around,
Stabilizer.
and the camera's not shaky.
Yeah,
and
it
stuff.
allows you to have clean movement without having camera jitters.
Yes.
If you're ever wondering how they get like car rollers or like if in a scene somebody's running but there's obviously not a car that they could have used, like it's in the woods
Someone's
somewhere,
running with
Yeah.
but it's like perfectly stable footage.
Yeah.
Stabilizer.
Yeah.
Yes.
Or
Thank God
Steadicam.
though, most of the gimbal work was done by the amazing work of Luciano. So
So he was a master with that. I have to
He-
say, like, he is
Uh,
the guy for
he
like
is
that
the
kind of
g-
motion. so I
of
was so
course.
happy he took
yeah,
the
yeah,
reins on
yeah,
that.
of course. But Most difficult.
Because you were also, it's worth noting, so Cinovate gave us the equipment, but Cinovate wasn't always able to make it to most of the shoots, which was mainly just Luciano, Jack. So for most of the movie, or like a lot of it at least, you were a one-man band, and you and I are the only fluent ones for cameras probably on set, and I was doing creative stuff, so I couldn't even help you.
Our PAs were still helpful, helped me with tripods and stuff, but
but in terms of like setting up a shot, you were the only, of course you're DP, but you're the only one that could have like put that together, because I wasn't always really there to help. I was focused with Mo or like other things and stuff. So like in those terms, what do you think was the hardest to either think of, like set up, or like?
I think honestly the thing is, majority of these shots were on sticks, thankfully, but it was more of like, how do we be creative and visually appealing and not be plain? I think honestly there isn't like a scene or a shot that was very difficult. I think the entire movie was more difficult in a way where we needed it to be, because going into it we know we weren't gonna have, like you're saying, gimbal aside.
I say gimbal aside, because those were more of like technical problems.
Yeah, technical problem, but like gimbal aside, there wasn't going to be a lot of movement anyways, besides like the running and stuff. Yeah. So I think for me, it was more of being inspired by other movies when they were like simple shots, but like how do you make it visually appealing? Like what's in the frame? So I think for sure one of like top of my head, like being creative is like visually appealing is zigzagging. Instead of making it feel like a music video, even though it is kind of a music video, still make it like a movie, cinematic. So being creative of his movement of dancing, you know, like my favorite shot is him. I don't know, you can't even tell we're on the roof, but it's him, and it's just literally the blue sky, and it's him doing the gray sky, because it's black and white, but color, it's a fucking blue sky.
I think it was great that day though.
It actually was.
But yeah.
Okay, guys, I get it. Jesus.
Fuck you, Dylan. Know your colors.
But like being like, that's one of my favorite shots. It's so clean, but visually like so appealing. You know what I mean? So it's like,
I do remember you guys geeking out about a shot where I was cooking eggs, and we panned to
oh my god, that shot was
I still love that shot.
I love that. So
to the butter, to the pan.
It was exactly. There's some shots that I was like, this is exactly what I imagined. It was that. Like that
so
was like, oh my god.
I'll go deep into that shot. I remember me and Luciano. I had the help of Luciano that day. We were just on some other shit, on some other level that day, where I needed to pan up. I needed to pan. Sorry, not pan. Tilt. Sorry,
wow,
tilt.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
Fucking
she remembered that. We were having, we would always say pan when we wanted to say tilt. So Kareem was always on our ass about that.
Yeah.
Probably pissed. I needed to tilt up when you're cutting the butter, right?
Like up and like diagonally.
And it was like it was a weird framing, because your kitchen is weird, where it's not like.
In the kitchen.
It's not like
there's
perfect.
A wall like right
there.
It's
It's not like perfectly lined up, so we needed to tilt it. We needed to actually tilt it a little bit, so I needed to also tilt up, and then we also needed a focus pull. And I think that day the focus pull broke, or it got disconnected.
Yeah.
So
the nucleus, I think.
Yeah, it was something wrong. Yeah. So
right.
Me and Luciano and I were just hugging each other on the tripod with the FX6, and I had to time it perfectly, and Luciano had to time it perfectly with the focus. And we're laughing because my dad is watching football, and he just yelled super loud. But I had to tilt up on a right time for him to cut the butter. And it seems so simple, like saying it, but like
not if you have a creative mind. You kind of know the
yeah. But like it sounds simple saying it, and if you're hearing it, it probably sounds like not like a big deal. But like actually physically doing it and timing it with his cutting, and also timing it so Luciano can focus pull on the perfect time, where it focuses on the butter and then focuses on Mo. Like we were just cracked on
a lot of simultaneous moving parts.
Yeah.
To get such a simple looking shot.
For sure. So for sure that shot too. Also the shot of you on the roof. I know I was just tilting up and you were about to jump, but also making that frame look visually appealing too with the house, instead of just being flat on him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I had to like creatively look at it and see how your house is and like the framing of it, the composition of it. So I think that's the shot. But I think, like I said, the entire movie was the whole thing was a little difficult just because, like I said, a lot of the shots were on sticks, but we wanted it to make it still look visually appealing and not make it look like it's on sticks. They just put it in front of it and then they did that. Like we had to make it, another shot that I really like is, and how we did it, Chase helped me fucking build the fake rig on the floor, is when Shadow walks into the room with just your feet. Where I have BTS footage of that. We'll put it somewhere. But it's literally the FX6 on the Danny Dolly on the floor with the sandbag, and just me following it. So it's like we didn't have. My
favorite shots, but it's
it's a good shot.
I love that shot.
But like I said,
especially for the trailer.
Yeah. We just, like I said in the very beginning, like we're dealt with the cards. We were dealt with the cards that we had because we didn't have the right. Obviously, there's like a proper equipment to do that super low, but we just had the Danny Dolly and we just put it on the floor, had a sandbag, and then I just follow. That's also, I had a focus pull that bitch too.
Yeah, which is crazy. You did a lot of it. Like, fuck it, I'll do it.
Yeah, we didn't have the focus puller.
That's
on
what
that.
I'm saying, bro. When you were like a one-man band, I'd be like, holy shit. You were like cracked.
That was the first time I ever seen Dylan do what he loves in that sense. And, like, that was, like, really cool. Like, I don't know how, like, cool is such a, like, shallow word, in my opinion, to, like, describe, like, the actual feeling. But he is so unbelievably, like, talented and passionate at doing what he does that, like, getting to see him work on such a passion project, not even, what do we say besides?
Passion project.
It's a passion project.
There was something that we used to call it instead that was a little
funnier,
less passion. It was like personal. I can't. Whatever. Besides the point, getting to see that was really, really cool. But I did want to ask, if there was a scene that you could reshoot.
Oh,
what would it be?
Oh, that's fat. I already know what your answer is. I think because there was one shot you wanted different. I didn't shoot it because I forgot.
You forgot?
I didn't. Well, yeah, I kind of did forget. Actually,
I don't know if you are think. I don't. One shot I would like to reshoot is the breakup scene.
Ooh, not what I thought. What were you gonna? What part?
Because of how it looked, or because of just the scene in general?
No,
I think how it looked, and also just the scene itself as well. Because I know you don't. That's not your top favorite.
I don't dislike it.
But I see why you don't dislike it, which is the same for me, because I also think my shots weren't as complimentary as to help your performance, in my opinion. Which I think is great. It's not a shitty part. I
hear what you're saying.
If I had a chance to reshoot it, I would reshoot that.
I will say also it's very hard so I shot another romance scene on the roof before, so I know how hard it is to shoot on there because the camera is, if this is the roof, the camera is set up right here, and this is where you guys are sitting.
Yeah.
You really don't have any room to go up or down, and the only way we could combat that, I think, was literally to get a crane and then put it over the roof to be more your eye line and stuff.
I completely agree.
Yeah, I think that's the only way we could have fixed it.
Yeah, I think that is just my framing was it was not
we were limited.
We were limited, there you go. And I it's not basic, but it was what we were dealt with.
Yes.
It was the cards that we were dealt with. So it's like you're with that. If I had a crane and everything and a whole like rig and everything, like it would be amazing.
Pretty sexy.
Yeah.
I'd also like to say that I wish the overcast weather of zigzagging fucking happened that day, and then the bright sunny weather of the breakup scene was on zigzagging day, because that was totally what I wanted
that day.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
We're sitting on the roof baking.
What was the scene you think I would reshoot? I mean, I probably have other scenes.
Oh, I thought there's something we almost reshot. I don't know how we didn't.
When it comes to color.
Which part were you thinking?
The pushing, right?
Yes, yeah, when he's on the floor.
The
living room with like the drugs and stuff on the floor. It
was because we had a fucked up rig where it was literally the C-stand arm, and it was the camera in the center. We made a a really bad rig in the middle of the.
That room's
Yeah,
really
why?
small, so we couldn't really put the Dana dolly where
In
we
the
wanted
it was
to be
too
at.
big. So me and Chase made a fake rig, and we tried to like go at the same time, and it was just weird. And then also the shot of the phone where it says "mom."
That's what I thought you
Yeah,
were gonna
yeah,
definitely say, which I wanted to reshoot because it was simple. I didn't.
No, it's all good. Like again, it's not that they were bad. It was just like we were dealt with the cards. What am I trying to say?
It was the cards you were dealt.
It was the cards we were dealt
There
with,
you go.
and then
What was your favorite shot of the movie?
well for sure the
Not to shoot.
The one,
oh
After the fact.
Yeah,
Yeah.
after the fact.
Mm.
Yeah.
honestly, I love we reshot that Ronin shot of him
That's literally
of
the one I'm thinking of.
The
of
roof.
When
No,
he
no, no,
walks
no.
To the door.
when he walks to the door, and you told me to hold on to the door for a little longer, and then
Oh
I
my
switch over to them.
Gosh, dude.
That's my favorite.
I think
Seeing it in the fucking edit, I was like, "Are you fucking?"
Yeah.
I
kidding
think
me?
I
This is
think
1,000
that
times better.
I think that was one of my best Ronin works I've ever had, is because my timing with him following him to the door is perfect, and then it was the last shot we did. It was the last take we did of that because I remember that note you said is hold on to the door a little longer, and I was like, okay. So I followed him. I followed him, and then waited for his reaction to the door. I held on to the door, and then I quickly panned to Mo perfectly, in my opinion, the timing, and then Mo going to the door.
It made it 100
Yeah.
times more Twilight
Yeah,
Zone.
I think
So
I think the
much more.
timing of that shot is perfect. I don't
Yes.
like. There's definitely more beautiful shots, like I said, the one of the roof of you doing the wave, and I do really like the shot of me tilting up to you before you jump. Like I love the look of that.
On the roof.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
But I think the timing of that shot is pretty fucking spot on. If I'm
No,
not gonna lie.
Agreed. No, for
Yeah, yeah.
sure. I literally can't emphasize how much the reshoots improve the movie for sure.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, yeah, it'd be like I think we could do them better, but I didn't imagine that like I'm telling you, like I like the way it was before, but it was so much better.
Mhm,
The reshoots
mhm.
really solved a lot of the problems that I think we might have had with some shots.
Mm-hmm.
So happy we did that.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
so you guys know, pickup shots / reshoots happened less than 2 months before the premiere night.
Yeah, that's
Barely like
That's
over
crazy.
A month.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
a month and I think a month and a half.
4-day shoot.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
3 day, 3 day, 3 day.
Character posters were the day before reshoots.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was like
I
a
think
photo shoot. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But I think it was a 3 day shoot. It was a weekend shoot. Friday,
Yeah.
Saturday,
Yeah,
Friday,
that's
Saturday,
right.
Sunday.
Yeah.
But,
also, totally random and irrelevant. But I wanted to say it before I forget. I was telling my parents about this because there's never like emphasis on where Rod goes when he comes out of the car. When Shadow like wakes up and he's just not there.
Oh, yeah.
He's like
yeah.
looking for him, but he has no idea where he is.
Mhm.
And then all of a sudden, Rod has a knife that he stabs Shadow
Mm.
with, and like I told my parents, I was like, see if you can find the knife in the movie. And I'm like, okay, and then they came back and like, I don't know what you're talking about.
It was in
And the
cage?
only time you ever see a knife in the movie is when you see it sitting there when he cuts the butter.
Yep.
Mhm.
Anyways, wanted to say that.
Yeah,
That's-
that's a
that's a
little.
fun
That's
fact.
a little
We
hint.
talked about it earlier. Little Easter
There's
egg.
another
Exactly.
time you see it. Depending on the radio.
Yes.
Yeah, you. Well, that's
Yes.
what I was gonna say. You
Yeah,
can
yeah.
see it with the butter. That's the only time he uses it, so
Yeah.
he knows it's there. Yeah, if you see it on the radio, it does focus on the
Yeah.
knife.
Wasn't
exactly.
that like the importance of that scene? It wasn't just to show like, oh yeah, he does eat. It was more of like an emphasis on the knife.
It's so that you
Or
see that
that was
there's
the way I viewed it.
It was kind of, but I want to focus on the radio because the
Yeah.
radio, like some elements in Sanctuary that don't really make sense for like a viewer would just be like, why is there a rotary phone there and why is there a what do you call it, an old radio? Yeah.
Mm-mm.
But anyway, I feel like the radio is just like the thing that plays whenever Shadow wants it to
Wants
do
it to
something.
play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
calling card.
Calling card, sick.
I didn't really think that's crazy though, the knife thing, because I didn't really put 2 and 2 together. But it is like the only like utensil that you see, to be honest.
Like the whole thing.
Yeah.
There's never like a fork for the fucking eggs.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
all
yeah.
just
No,
Come
nothing.
off the pan.
Slipped it out of the pan.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was like,
Yeah.
Those eggs sat there for like a day.
Ethan
Nobody ate
ate them.
He did?
I thought nobody ate it.
No, Ethan ate them. He came over to after that scene was done. He came over to the pan and he went, "Wow, you know how to scramble or not scramble?" He said, "You know how to fry some eggs." And then he's like, "Anyone gonna eat these?" And I was like, "Nope."
I swear to God,
And he
I
ate
saw
'em.
them sit there for like a day.
Incredible.
Oh, we made
Maybe for like an
multiple-
hour.
We made multiple eggs though, didn't we?
I think we
That
only
one
made like
take?
2?
I think we did like 2-3 takes.
Did we really?
Yeah, I think so. Because I remember the first.
Butter.
I remember the first take. I
protein.
didn't like the framing.
Good for him.
I remember the first take. I didn't like the framing at all. I
That's
switched it.
It took a minute to
that I
get
think I
the
remember.
butter to the pan to me. You guys were doing that for a
That
minute.
too.
Yeah,
That too,
yeah.
for sure. The timing was.
Good long scene. That scene was also longer before.
That's true.
The scene was
Yeah,
longer.
The first cut, it's a pretty long scene.
If there was one scene, that you would have liked to be in color,
Ooh.
That's crazy.
what would it be?
Way better than whatever question.
I gotta think about this.
One. You only get one.
One scene or one shot?
It's also
One
tough because
shot.
I've seen most of the
Apologies.
movie in color, even the stuff that was black and white. So you probably wouldn't have seen it. But the film emulation that we used for the beginning of it was like a 35 millimeter emulator. And honestly, some of the blue skies were like, holy shit.
know
So I
that-
think if I showed you those, you probably
Yeah.
would know a little.
I don't want to
to
keep saying the shot of him doing the wave on the roof, but I think I have it on my phone where I'm filming it. I'm like, I love this shot.
Yeah.
But I think to change it up, I think, and it's kind of 2 shots because if you watch the movie, it's a match cut, but it's the one where Mo walks into the backyard for the first time with no beard, and then it switches to him having a beard as a time span, and I would love to see those 2 shots in color.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
the
because he
flower.
looks at the flowers. And
I would love to
it's
see
in
the
black and white,
yeah.
and he's like,
Yeah.
What
Here's
the
what we're
fuck?
gonna do. We're
I'm
gonna
gonna
make a
smoke
color
some weed.
cut, but when it goes back to color, it's gonna actually go back into
To
black
and white.
we're gonna mix it up.
Oh, that's
Funny.
funny.
Anyways, I still don't remember
All
what
good.
it was. It was something about I think it was about the FX. I was gonna ask you about.
Would I rather shoot FX or this?
Yeah, would you rather shoot a red Komodo or would you rather shoot?
Well, that is actually a good point to bring up. Is that Dylan owns a Sony A7S III, not the camera that we shot with on the movie. So Dylan was YouTube University.
Yes.
The weeks leading up to the actual shoot, learning about the camera.
Well,
Steve and Luciano were also showing him around the camera.
Yeah, I was gonna say the night before I packed everything and got all the equipment ready at Luciano's house, and then I think I got like a 10-15 minute tutorial from Mr. Steve Park, because also Luciano is not a huge. I mean, he's like there with me now, like getting used to it. But at the time, I don't think Luciano has really used the FX6, so it was all Steve that helped me. 10-minute tutorial, but throughout that whole week, I was for sure YouTube University on FX6.
And by the time we were on set, he was
Cracked.
flames were coming off the camera.
I have no idea.
I want that camera so bad. I fell in love with it.
I got my question. It
Nice.
wasn't about the FX. It was actually so we've talked about this a little bit before for the podcast. You've done video for like music videos, dance videos, but this is your first like official. I mean, you've directed a film as well, but it's your first official title as cinematographer.
Yeah, DP.
What was your fear maybe going into it? Because so I know you would tell me about the things that you were kind of watching. So like Danny Gravitz was one of the big ones. And other videos that kind of were along the lines of like film production. But like when it comes to like being a cinematographer, how was your experience as a whole? And what was the most, like, were you kind of nervous towards the beginning?
So
I remember
nervous.
a little bit you mentioned it, but like what were your feelings as a whole about being a
I was so
cinematographer?
nervous because, to be honest, I'm not really technical and educated. I mean, I think I'm good now, but at the time, I wasn't so educated about lighting. So I know as a DP for any movie set, you have to have great communication with lighting, because whatever your shot is, the lighting has to complement that, and you tell the lighting crew what you need. So, and then I didn't know Chase at all. So like also having to be communicate to someone that's like cracked at like lighting, to be like, hey, I need a light there, which I'm still learning, but like at the time I was like, I don't like, sometimes I'm not good with lighting and shadows and all that. So it's like,
I feel like that's why it was perfect that it was Chase specifically that was the gaffer for the movie,
yeah.
because he's so receptive.
And
Definitely.
definitely.
He has such an artistic eye that it's like,
yeah.
if you didn't know how to communicate, I feel like he easily would have already knew
Yeah,
what you needed
yeah,
before
and
you
that's-
had to say anything.
I wasn't stressed about framing or making your movie look great because I know I have the eye for it and I know visually what I need, but I don't know the technical aspects of like I need a shadow here, there's too much light on his face, you know what I mean?
Right.
So the technical parts between that and also getting the settings correct on the FX6 as in the right exposure due to the lighting and also it being black and white. So that my nerves were just more on a technical level, not in a creative level because, I mean, I would like to say I have the creative eye for that. It's just more of the technical aspect I was super nervous about.
Okay. Which I would say, honestly, if it came down to both of them, that was the better thing to have. If
Yeah,
everything,
yeah,
like
yeah.
as long as you know the artistic, the technical is a lot less.
Yeah, I
stressful,
think I
would
knew
say.
going in. I was very confident in like what you wanted and what you look because we both like the same movies, and I
True.
know what you like, and you also gave me a lot of references, so I know what you wanted visually. Is just like communicating with a person that I didn't know at the time with Chase, and just knowing that he's like cracked at what he does. So it's like being okay with me not knowing everything. So me communicating with a person and being okay with like, hey, I don't know this, like help me out, like what does this shot need lighting wise. So I think that was the most scary part. And then what was the other question?
I don't think I had.
It was my first big project as a DP. It felt like home, and I think we had a conversation after we filmed too. Is like, I think that's my direction right now. I thought I wanted to be a director, which it can still go that way. But as of now, I'd love to just take care of business as a DP because I feel like as a cinematographer, videographer for like dance videos and music videos and like artists is like, if you give me an idea or like a skeleton, and if you give me the skeleton, like I can help elevate it. That's my kind of thing. And then I think that's comes with training with Luciano and Steve is like, that's what Cinovate is like we elevate any project you give us. So it's like, now it's more of a direction of, okay, you give me an idea. Okay, let me elevate it and let me help you out with that. So I think without this project, I wouldn't have the mindset of where I want to go right now. So
Same.
I give you much respect and love for that, brother.
Gonna be more prouder
Oh.
of the things that you did. I literally, I think the beauty was in like the subtlety of most of the shots. Like you were the one that was like, let's get which is funny because you tatted it, but the shot where it's tilted, it was originally just head on.
With the cup.
Like tilt that bitch.
Yeah.
Like,
That's
fucking
tilted.
do
I
it.
remember
And
that
love
one.
it, yeah.
I remember the stair shot where I'm in your bedroom and he walks down and the foreground is your bedroom door and I'm in your room and he just runs down the stairs. We just see his legs.
Like the quick one. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
when we
yeah.
were both rolling at the same time. I think.
Yeah. Because I was like, yo, instead of getting like an entire shot of his body and like, because we've seen him go down the stairs so many times,
Oh, yeah.
I was like, let's just do this clean ass shot where you just see his legs go. But yeah, I got it tatted. That's one of I forgot about this shot. But yeah, that was my idea for a shot. But
Yeah, it's heavy your shot.
Yeah.
Well, not all of it's your shot, but that one specifically.
Yeah, I got it tatted.
Yeah. And also
Alright.
I was gonna say the subtlety of one of my favorite things that you got right was the push in when Rod starts questioning what the friend's talking about during gaming. We talked about it during shot list when we were making them together, but I was kind of specific on I didn't want movement.
Yes.
Throughout most of the first act, if not all,
Yeah.
unless it was for like a specific reason. So we had to push in to kind of bring us back into the environment of like Rod.
Yeah.
And it's like mainly static besides like the tilts here and there. But no, you got that timing right so much. And I think it was funny because Gavin brought it up. He was like, oh, like the push-ins and stuff like that. I was like, I know, bro.
I didn't, yeah. So that's another, I think that's one of the things I learned is I didn't really understand that even with movement and stuff, timing is kind of everything too with, you know,
you don't like realize it when you're watching it.
Yeah,
like,
you don't really,
when you're on set, it's so like,
that's
it's a
what I'm
hard
saying.
thing to do.
And that's one thing I was nervous on set, not like before set, like what you were asking me, but like on set, like when that shot was happening, I was like, I hope I'm doing the timing right. Like this motion feels good for you. So it's like, I didn't really realize timing is kind of everything if you need camera movement. And if you have a great director like this man, he knows what he wants. So like the timing of it. So like as the DP, you want to do that correctly, you know. So it's like, yeah.
Oh, you nailed it, bro.
Appreciate you. Thank you guys. All right, that's episode. I'm just kidding. I'm just
Miss Eddie.
Miss Eddie.
Oh, Miss Eddie. So to Emmy's credit, also, art department usually would probably like a lot of budget to be able to buy cool props
And more people, probably.
cool costumes.
Oh,
Also,
way more people.
help. They would probably also want help.
It'd be more than one person usually
Yeah,
in
yeah.
art department. Yeah.
Emmy,
If there was more than just Mo, then yes. But I kind of liked having him to myself.
Emmy set dressed. She chose wardrobe. She had all of my closet to choose from, all of Brandon's closet to choose from, all of Dylan's closet to choose from.
It's like going shopping. I was dressing a Ken doll the entire set.
What?
That's crazy. He is a Ken doll.
But yeah, what was the hardest part about either set dressing, wardrobe, or both?
Okay, hardest part I think was literally realizing like mid 9-day shoot that I don't like costume design. Or
That's
I didn't know this.
yeah, you did.
yeah, you did. I told you.
But it was your first time doing it too.
But yeah, correct. It was my first time doing everything, technically. Yeah, I literally had a conversation with you about this. I agreed to all of it because I want to try everything.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to film, because I just recently, or the past year or so,
Got into that
got
realm.
really interested in it, mostly because of these guys. Thank you for that. But yeah, like midway through the 9-day shoot, I was like, I wish there was more set design to be done than there was costuming to be done. But just the way that the movie was laid out was completely opposite. There was more outfits that needed to be changed and vibes done and hair and beard and like all that, because he was the star of the show. His environment wasn't the star of the show. And I am excited for future work because I want to pay more attention to the environment and I want to experience working with the environment more. Clothing, for some reason, I realized I was like, I don't like this. Because I wasn't a costume designer.
Yeah.
I wasn't a costume designer. I was a wardrobe stylist. I was picking out costumes that already existed and putting them together. That's what I was doing. And wardrobe stylist, I give you all the props, but I don't like it. I don't like it. But set design,
that's why usually there's two different people.
Yeah.
There's a whole
Exactly.
That's why there's like two. That's like a whole different like
Very different departments.
departments. And I don't think
Yeah.
I don't think people really realize. I mean, if you're not really into like the technical aspects of movies, is like wardrobe and styling is kind of that's even different too. And
costume design and wardrobe styling are two completely different
that's
jobs.
different, and even like the art direction is different. Like the art department kind of had like they have some say.
We're
of
split up a lot.
Like
there's a lot of divide in the art department.
Even though the art department should have a little say like what the costume looks like, but they have no say, like how to build it or what to do.
Yeah, the
like,
only person that would actually get to say anything about both, say, props or set design and costuming would be a creative director.
Yeah.
Or director.
Yeah.
Just point blank period.
Yeah. But that's you had many hats to fill.
Yeah, and it was so cool getting to experience like
For sure.
all of it essentially, or a decent amount of it. It like looking back, it's like such a surreal feeling. I tell Brandon this all the time, but like I have not experienced a high like being on set for 9 days straight, working until 7 a.m. I have not experienced something like that ever in my life. And I feel like I haven't been the same since. Like I'm literally, and I'm not saying like, oh, I'm like depressed as hell. I mean, after.
Let me introduce you to a term called post-shoot depression.
Yeah.
It's real.
Oh,
It's real.
and we
It
all
sucks,
experienced it
Yeah,
for
for
sure. Especially because being someone who is very creative, I also go to school for. I don't even know how to.
She goes to
like,
fit 'em.
She goes to fit 'em.
You're downplaying where you go.
Going to school and being an artist in an art school, everything you do is creative. Essentially, all of my like homework assignments are creative projects, which is very draining because then in your free time, you want to also create.
Juice,
yeah, you're like out of creative juice. Mm-hmm. I literally did not once experience any type of burnout during set. And that is something that was like so mind blowing to me. And I like, after thinking about it and kind of pondering it for a while, I realized it was literally just environment. It was like your environment has such a big deal to do with your creative flow and your just your creativity in general. And like the environment of being on set on Sanctuary was so like inspiring and so like motivating as an artist, at least, that like I like wish it went longer. I literally, I mean,
I was dying. Loki.
Talk about that.
No, I mean, granted, I would be sitting there like on the couch while they're shooting, like complaining about how bad I wanted to be in my bed because it was 6 a.m. Like, can you blame me? But like looking,
I guess
looking back on it, it was something that like you're sitting there feeling like, oh, you wish it never ended because of how like cool it was.
Yeah.
Like no burnout, no. That you're tired as fuck, but like it was bliss.
Yeah.
But yeah, the hardest part was definitely like kind of like realizing that what I was doing wasn't what, for one, I was best at, like really good at. Like I wish I was better at it while I was doing it. And also that I was like realizing I was like, okay, this is not like what I want to do in the future, but I need to do well at it because we're not finished. It was like one, if that makes sense. I was like, I have to still put my all into it, even though I don't want to, because this isn't
what you want.
This isn't me. This isn't about me. This is about Brandon, and this is about his baby. This is about everybody
you have
else.
A kid?
Oh yeah, just went off to college.
Oh, that's crazy.
But yeah, that I would say that was probably like.
Wait, did you tell me this after the premiere?
I did.
Okay, I think never mind. I do remember this now. Which honestly,
I actually
you bring
told
it up,
you
I'm
before
like,
the
holy
premiere
shit,
as well.
At your house?
I told you shortly after we wrapped Sanctuary as well.
I think so too.
We had like a brief. Honestly, we were probably drunk.
Okay, that's what I was thinking. I was like, okay, there might be a reason for
One
this.
of the times, yeah, but I remember mentioning it to you briefly that I was just like,
On set.
yeah, I did.
I never knew. Yeah, I had no idea that.
I was like, okay, put this on. I hate this.
The thing though, I agree.
Put
There
this
was
on, fuck you.
there was no burnout, but I mean, I'll go with why I complain about like if it went longer, I'll probably die. But it was more like I was physically tired.
Yeah.
Oh, you were lifting. You
Yeah.
were assembling,
Yeah.
disassembling.
I was like,
so
even
bad.
like lunch.
So bad.
Lunch.
Those
Every time we
many
had
days.
lunch or dinner, I was like, "Don't bother me. I'm gonna go take a nap."
I have like
And
5 pictures of Dylan sleeping in random places.
Yeah.
I literally have
I'm gonna make like an album.
I have a photo of Dylan cacked out on like the floor of the equipment room.
Yeah, literally. I was there
During lunch.
During lunch, every lunch,
I was
every
like,
lunch. I was like, but the thing is, I wanted to obviously have a good vibe on set, and, you know, get my juices flowing in. But even though I was tired, like you said, it was not burnout, but it was definitely like tired. But I'd rather be there than anywhere else and be tired.
Yeah.
You know, like it was more like it was like I think I was telling Mo or you this. It was a good tired. You know what I mean? Like you feel accomplished
like
tired.
after you work out.
Yeah,
You're
it's like
so
after
productive.
Yeah.
But your body is so like exhausted.
Yeah, and you don't feel
You're
guilt.
like proud of yourself.
You don't feel guilty taking a nap if you didn't do anything, you know, that kind of tired,
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
So I was like, oh, this is a good tired. Like, I don't mind complaining I'm tired because I worked my ass off.
And it's
That
also
kinda tired.
everybody else on set was tired.
Yeah, that's, again,
So,
like,
like,
everyone else was working hard too, which
You
made
weren't, like,
me want to, like,
alone in the feeling.
Yeah,
of being
100%.
exhausted, and you didn't feel like an asshole complaining because
Yeah,
everybody
yeah.
else was complaining.
yeah. But again, it was good.
Together.
It was like good complaining because like we knew we were getting shit done.
Yeah, and now we have a movie.
Yeah.
We do. Technically a feature.
Let's go.
I don't know what to put on the forms for that. Is it a feature or short?
It's actually that.
It's a
Depends on your
hybrid. Wait,
definition.
isn't a hybrid a thing? Isn't that? Didn't we look it up?
Official category?
Yeah, isn't that a
I don't
thing?
know.
Oh, I
I
don't know.
don't know actually.
But Mr. Mo, the
Stands
star.
It's
for- Oh yeah, so much. I just before you begin, I want to emphasize he kind of like overshadowed it, but just you went to Europe, right? So you're in Amsterdam in a fucking coffee shop.
No, this guy was in Amsterdam.
I'm sorry.
No, you're chilling.
Good point. You were in a place very far from here. Supposed to be like vacation, but you were there doing notes, reading the script over and over again, nonstop. And I just want to say that it was crazy that you,
as he should,
you would come back with these notes with like things that I exactly wanted from these characters, like exact words that I was like, oh, you're good. I was gonna tell you these things, but you're chilling. But you put so much like dedication into both characters, and I know one probably took a lot out of you for sure. But no, I just wanted to say that it's crazy that all of the things that you did for this character shows so much, and both of them for sure. And not to mention that it's just crazy that you could just flip the switch to turn on Shadow. Fucking man, I literally see you as a different person when you're in the contacts. Like it's bizarre on screen. Like it feels like two completely different people. For sure. So, anyways, I just wanted to say that.
Thank you.
What were your thoughts? Where do you want to start with?
when you got the script, when you, like first read.
Viewers.
Because it wasn't like a thing like real actors. I mean, sort of like some actors get the script and that's the first time they know about the story. But we discussed the story with Brandon for so long. Yeah. But like when you got the first read of the script, like what was your mindset? What was your mindset different from when you first read it from your last read, like the last day before filming? Like what was that mindset for you, you know, from the beginning of it?
First read, like jittering with excitement. Like just so happy. Like honestly, like going, like I know, like Brandon said, I was on vacation and I was like going to coffee shops, like reading the scripts, just like having lunch or something and doing notes. And like, that is just like my dream. Like that is literally my dream. My dream is to just, to do that. And, so I got to do that. And then, right before we started, the closer and closer and closer we got to filming, the anxiety just started peaking. Cause Shadow is definitely the biggest challenge I have had as an actor.
Really?
Thus far. Yeah, oh, for sure.
Really?
Oh, for sure. Cause it's it's like, it was very much character acting.
Yeah.
But not character acting like what's an example? Not like Ace Ventura, you know, like not character acting like that, where it's like
over the top.
Not over the top, but I'm not wording it right.
Like so specific. The personality.
It like the character is separated from reality, but
yeah.
in a serious way.
So more,
you know what I mean?
Is it more of like being a villain? Is that more of what
kind of? Yeah. I guess so. It was like Rod is very much like a grounded, based on reality person.
I see what you're saying.
But the way that I was viewing Shadow was
like not from like
like not a regular person.
Yeah. It was hard to grab inspiration from like real people or like
exactly. Yeah, it's like draw reference.
It's not like a character like
almost like a concept.
Exactly. Like the character was an idea.
Yeah.
The character wasn't like where Rod is like, these are Rod's character traits. So this is what drives Rod as a person.
It's not like
Shadow is like a concept. That's exactly.
It's not like a character like Seth Rogen. Like he can play like any like a comedy character and like
exactly.
Get
that's what I
inspiration
mean by
from himself.
character acting. That's
Yes, I never thought about that. That's crazy.
Yeah, no, definitely biggest challenge thus far. I was the most nervous about that. I had never worn contacts a day in my life before.
I think if there's any footage I have the most of, it's you putting in the contacts. So much footage.
I mean, I've never had to. I never had glasses. I've never had to wear contacts, and I mean, these contacts for Shadow they were the size of my whole eye. So I am sitting on the toilet, holding my eye open like this, and Dylan is trying to drop black contacts into my eye. And to be fair, the more we did it, the quicker it got. But
we were cracked at it.
The first time, I think it was like almost 40 minutes trying to get these
contacts. You started with the highest difficulty of contacts.
Literally.
I think that's the highest. But I don't think you can get crazier. Like,
literally,
your whole
the highest level.
Yeah, I was like, I think a couple weeks before we started.
You tried it.
Yeah, we were putting them in so I'd get used to them. Like my eyes were like puffing up and getting irritated and like,
Gosh.
But yeah, no, that would it was it was a lot of fun.
Dude.
in hindsight, it was a lot of fun.
I cannot wait for the BTS. I'm gonna stay on that for so long because I'm just gonna keep cutting through all of the footage I have of you putting in contact. Attempt
Yeah.
one, attempt two. Excellent. Send it all.
Yeah.
Send it
But yeah,
both ways.
from first read to last read, that was definitely the shift.
What though like got you into character and like being comfortable with the character, like coming on
Wait,
set?
actually, yeah. What got you into character first? Because you,
Okay.
yeah. I want to emphasize that a little bit because
Yeah.
every time before we shoot, you have a method for most, for every production we've been on. At least you have
If-
like a thing that you.
If
do.
you're on a set with
Ritual,
Mo
maybe.
and he's acting, you can't
Shut
play.
up.
Shut up. And also, you
Well-
can't play. No, don't shut up. But you can't play.
Usually I go seclude myself.
He goes to
Yeah,
seclude
yeah.
himself, and then you also can't like play pranks on him. And like as soon as he walks,
Yes. So I
Yeah.
think someone was saying they wanted to pull a prank on me during
Oh,
set.
we talked
I was
about
like,
that.
please wait until we wrap.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
it's yeah.
I think we all memed about it. But I think
Yeah.
there was. I forgot who. I don't know if it was you, but someone wanted to like pull a prank on you seriously, and
I was like, please.
Yeah.
As soon as the scene's over, do whatever you want.
yeah.
Dump a jug of Gatorade, whatever.
I'd have to
I don't
second
care.
that if we were on.
But
set.
yeah, what got you? Like how do you get into character as like again like a person you can pull inspiration from, like from reality where
Like,
Rod
How did you get into character for Shadow specifically?
that too.
I don't literally go through a checklist, but I have the same method that I use for every character that in every production. And something that I learned about myself, actually not on Sanctuary, but the movie we shot right before Sanctuary, Point A, is that I respond very well to I respond very well to associating music with with a character.
Yeah,
So
I noticed that.
So for Point A, which is a film that is not out yet, but me and Brandon shot last year. The director gave me an album that he was listening to while he was writing that character. And so I was listening to that album just like on repeat as I was doing character work and reading the script. And then when we were on set for that movie, when I would go do my thing, I would just be listening to the album on repeat. I'd choose maybe a couple songs from it that I thought hit the hardest. I'd listen to those. But basically, I mean, the short version of what I do is if it's an especially big scene, so like for Shadow, there is obviously one very big scene. I think about what he is trying to accomplish generally throughout the scene. And then if there are any like heavy hitter lines that are like a term that I had a coach that taught us the term. It's like some lines are like gunshots, like specific lines. So
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Wow, it's so fascinating. Yeah.
so if there's a line like that, I will create like the lore behind that line essentially.
Yeah.
Which it may not even be in the script. Like I could just totally make it up.
Yeah.
But if it helps me portray what you're trying to get me to portray,
Mm.
then that's what I do. But yeah, I will just go and create I will create a life for this character that is not what is happening on camera.
Yeah. An outside light, like
Yeah, like the rest of the person that you're not seeing is what I do off of camera, so that it helps me better inform what's happening on camera.
yeah.
It's almost like would you say you're filling in
Exactly.
the blanks
That is-
of this character?
Of this
Exactly,
character's life.
exactly.
Yeah.
Everything that
sick.
you have written on paper, I am doing everything else about that person.
Dude, that's like so cool. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
I do that. I do that leading up to production, and then when we're on set and I go away is when I'm like just like I do like some breath work for a little bit, and then I will just kind of like try to sink myself into thinking about the events of this person's life. If I'm acting across a person and they're down, what I like to do also is with that person. Before the scene starts, we go and have like a 10 or 20 minute conversation as our characters. Yeah, which I didn't do for Sanctuary,
Would have been a little hard.
but
Mirror.
but that is me and Liam did that for Point A. We would when rehearsing, we didn't do it on set because he was also directing. But that is something that I like to do if the other actor is down. We just go away for a little bit, and then we just talk as the characters.
Wow. Holy shit, so cool. Yeah, that's so
Yeah.
fascinating.
Really interesting.
Yeah. But yeah, that's what I do when I go away for a little bit.
Wow,
Yeah.
okay. That's so cool.
We'll go bye-bye.
Yeah.
I'll go bye-bye for sure. Do you have a question?
I had something, and then you went off on a good, crazy tangent.
Yeah, it was
But
a
it
long
was good,
story.
though. But,
It was valuable.
what would you do differently? We talked about a little bit about the breakup scene, how it's not.
I just didn't like some of the choices that I made. I think I wasn't. It's on me too. I don't think I was fully immersed when we were shooting that scene. Yeah, I think I would have made some different choices. That's really it.
Truthfully, it's funny because I think all of us would have picked something different about it, but I think I would have written it a little different if I could have. But I'm on the same page.
No,
I
it
think there's
wasn't.
some things
It
I
wasn't even like
probably would've-
dialogue. Truly, it was literally the way that. For me, it was the way the words were coming out of my mouth. That's it. That's really all it was. It was that's what I mean by like when I go create the lore of the character. Whatever I did outside is what I'm thinking about when I'm saying the lines.
Yeah.
So whatever choice I had made to think about when I was saying that line is how the line comes out of my mouth. So I just wish I had done something.
I have a
different.
question. You think, because people are watching, have seen the movie, do you think you would have had a better performance if we did the Sabrina tape before you did the roof scene? To get you, because that tape looks really like
If we had filmed the Santa Monica stuff
before
and then shot
shot the
in
roof.
order.
Like, do you think you would have a better performance because you felt more immersed into that relationship?
That's so fascinating. Oh,
Okay. The short answer is yes.
Give us a long answer.
Not for this specific project.
Oh,
so normally it would. If it was like,
Because like essentially that that tape, the Sabrina tape, is basically the
What
stuff
you
that
do
I'm creating in my
your
head.
Yeah. That's why I asked that.
Essentially.
That's why I asked that
Yeah,
question.
yeah. So generally, yes. If we had done that first
Yes.
and then shot the roof scene, yes, that would
Yes,
have.
We don't
Yes.
have to go deep. Yeah.
Yes.
Wow.
I see your reason. Yeah.
Generally, yes.
no, it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why shooting in chronological order. Obviously, most of the case cannot happen, but like that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
For an actor, that'd be pretty cool. Yeah,
That was technically the tape was technically our last day of filming, wasn't it?
The breakup scene we
Those
shot during
observations.
Principal Days, and the
Sabrina
whole
tape.
Sabrina tape was part of that
Reshoot.
1 month before the premiere
Yeah.
shoot weekend. Yeah.
I had another question for you on set.
What do you think of that? How hard was it reacting to a monster that wasn't there on the day of filming?
Oh yeah.
Well, we reshot that too.
Yeah, the first time.
But the first time.
Because your reaction.
Because we did.
And
When I'm
the
looking,
whole-
when I'm looking in the room.
Yeah. Well, and the reaction.
Because you still react to it though. We still got a
Oh,
shot of the light
you're right,
strobe.
you're right,
And
you're
you're
right, you're
reacting on the staircase in the middle where you see Shadow, and then you see Monster.
They both went
Yeah,
there,
yeah. It honestly wasn't that bad. But now that you bring that up, I will say what I was terrified about was as Shadow acting across no one. That
I remember you
more
saying that.
more I was worried about that than reacting to a monster that wasn't there.
To
Yeah,
have
like
that-
during convo, like you had nothing to.
yeah.
Yeah,
had nobody
no,
to look at.
Not during the scene.
Wow,
Leading up to shoot, I was trying to find a person to just come and sit in the chair across me that was the same height as me, so the eye lines would match. But it was hard to find.
We were gonna do me, remember? But I had to hold the camera.
It was hard to
You're a little busy.
It was hard to ask an actor to come act for
And-
free and not be in the movie,
and not even be
you know?
in the movie.
So yeah, I was as Shadow. I was just looking at the empty chair where Rod was sitting and hoping that where I'm looking
Your eye line
looks like I'm looking
you're
at myself.
insane.
We should have put like a C-stand or something right there and had like a little like piece of tape.
But no,
No, I
the
think
eye
that-
line did work out.
Yeah, the eye line did look.
No,
and
honestly,
then-
it still surprises me a lot. Yeah,
and I
for
think
sure.
Yeah.
if
It's
I
like
do remember,
spot on, just like insane. Every time I watch it, I'm like, dude, how the fuck did you like know that?
and if I do remember your solution, I think you said you'd rather not have anyone have that.
Well, I think you said you would sit in the chair.
No. Her solution was having like a tape there and like having your eyeline, but I thought you said if you had anything, if you had that, you'd rather.
Oh, I'd
have
rather
nothing.
have nothing. Yeah.
I think that's what you said, so that's why I don't think that's why we did that, which is a good solution, but
Yeah.
I don't think his method is like.
Would have been
that.
hard too because Rod does move. He sits down, he stands up, and it was funny is that you knew that on set. Like you were trying to track in the scene where he goes, and it literally pays off because when he gets up and he's like, "I have to try," you're looking exactly at it. Like, it's like, what the fuck? Like the part where like Rod's freaking out, and then you're like, "There's nowhere left to go." You like look up exactly where you are in the scene. I'm like, "How the fuck, bro? You're crazy with it." I think you're chilling. I don't know if you needed the tape. Yeah. Hopefully, this is like this is probably the only time you'll ever have to deal with that.
I felt like it affected me more as Rod, just because Shadow was like a concept. I felt very immersed as Shadow, and also the contacts did make it kind of hard to see just in general, which helped me honestly. That helped me be also because he's like drinking the whole time, and like all that. But I did feel, I feel like it maybe affected my performance acting across no one as Rod talking to Shadow.
Yeah.
But I want to go on your point as a fellow actor, not crazy acting like you, but like as a fellow actor, when what I'm like, even in daily life, if I wear something fly as fuck, I feel fly. So it's like if I had those contacts and if have that costume and everything, for me, it's literally like I'm 6 years old again and playing pretend. For me, like that's how I feel. So like, and like that's why sometimes for me like live auditions are pretty hard for me personally, just because like you have to like put everything in your brain to be creative and build the world around you. Because you don't have the world in front of you. Like that's why for me it's so interesting. Is like I probably have a better performance for me acting wise if I'm in that world already. Like if I'm on a set, they build it, or like, but that's not acting is, right? You have to build the world anyway. But for me, it's like, honestly, it's like, I think like that's why not anyone can be an actor, but like good actors, but there's a difference for sure. But for me, like why I like acting is like, it makes me feel like I'm 6 again and like playing pretend. And like, I feel you on that, like the contacts probably like helped you like be in that character. Cause it's like literally like, it's like in your daily life, like what I said, like if you feel like you're wearing something fly, like you feel a different way. You know what I mean? So.
Oh
Acting is just playing pretend.
Yeah.
Truly.
But it's like instead of like a stick as a toy gun, they give you like a real fake gun. You know what I mean?
Or
best way to describe
it. Or in
very rare cases
you
a real gun.
A real gun and you're what's his name and accidentally shoots.
Oh, chill.
I was like, all right, cut it.
Future Dylan, cut
let's all end it. We had the premiere. I want to know everyone's thought process. It was a great premiere, but I want to know sometimes it's a good thing to kind of toot our own horn, feel accomplished. Like how did all four of us feel with all the what's the word I'm trying to say, like the congratulations, it's a great movie. Like how did you feel with all the compliments? The attention, the compliments of like it being actually like a great film. Like cuz we knew it was a great film, but hearing it from other perspective and even from non-movie goers, how did you guys feel?
No, you guys go ahead. I'll
go direct
our camera.
Oh, that's crazy.
I'll go because it's on.
You go, yeah.
Is my camera rolling? All right, I'll go. For me, it felt amazing actually. Like hearing other people's perspectives, and it really solidified that we are going in the right direction, in my opinion, and we cannot stop now. Like it's. Yeah. What I wanted to say is I've said this to these guys many times, but I think this is the first time I felt this way towards something other than dance. Like before going on stage or in rehearsals or even freestyling, like I have this feeling of like, oh shit, like the anticipation is crazy. The fact that the adrenaline, the fact that like I sort of know I'm good, so like I'm gonna go off, you know. The confidence, the nervousness, the butterflies, like exactly how I felt with dance when I was younger growing up is exactly how I felt with the premiere. And that was the first time I felt that wasn't dance. So that for me that was like a big like, okay, this is what I need to do. For me. This is like, it was for me like, well, it's getting like emotional saying it, but like for me it was like definitely like, holy shit, I found what I've been looking for other than dance. Like, because I think I was really nervous for a couple years because I knew dance wasn't going to be the end goal. So for me, I needed to find that thing that was like, what is that feeling again of like just recently performing at the 805 show. Shout out to Ricky Cole with Soul Fresh. Like, I just performed with them on stage and I haven't performed in a long time. Like, that feeling is like the best feeling in the world, but it was also how I felt at the premiere and on set. So it was like, after the premiere, I was like, holy shit, I found that thing. You know what I mean? For me, it was like, for the last couple years, I was really nervous about not having that feeling anymore. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because we all want that feeling of whatever we want to do, right? Like for dance, like I keep saying, like dance was that thing for me, but I know it wasn't the end goal. So I think we're all in search of that, like butterflies of like this and like, oh, this is exciting. You know, we want that every time. We want that for our job. We want that for our career. And I think that premiere was like everything to me. So it's like besides the comments, besides the praise that we got, like that added a lot of it, the confidence, because obviously this is the first like DP role. So I still need to get that confidence that I have with dance. I still need to get there with the confidence, but I think for the butterflies, the nervousness, the right direction, I think is there now. So it's like, holy shit. For me, that's how I felt after the premiere.
For sure. Yeah, so much to piggyback on that for sure. But you guys go ahead.
Me? Go?
Sure. A mix of emotions for sure. Like beyond excited for the premiere.
Don't lie, you're nervous as shit.
No, I'm getting there. That's the next sentence.
You were the only one shitting their
That's
pants.
the next sentence.
Oh, it's just not true.
I was so excited to watch it. I was with everyone that was there, like that I cared about and everything. Mm-hmm. But also just unbelievably anxious. So anxious. I was talking about this to someone at the after party. I can't remember.
We were drunk. We didn't know.
I can't remember who it was.
What happened?
But my least favorite part of the entire filmmaking process is the premiere. Is my least favorite part. And
I totally understand.
Is my
really? That's one of my favorites.
My favorite part is being on set acting. That's it. Filming. That is my favorite part. And I think people think most of the time that like actors or filmmakers or DPs, directors, whatever, love attention. And for the most or in most cases that could be true. Mm-hmm. Like that, I'm sure there are artists out there who love the attention. I hate it. I hate the attention. And so when the premiere ended and we all walked out back into the theater and everyone was talking to us, of course I could not appreciate the things that they are saying more. Like they're saying such nice things and I believe them and then I appreciate them. It's just I don't know. Really?
It feels weird, right?
It feels weird. I feel weird standing in a room full of people that want to tell me how good I just was in a movie. Like
that doesn't boost your confidence?
Do you know Mo?
It make no.
Damn! No. That's crazy.
No, that was
crazy. Holy shit. I don't know if the mic got that.
Highlight.
I don't know if the mic got that, but I hope it did.
No, it does make me feel good. Like it I don't. It's a hard thing to explain. Like,
could it be that like you don't have like a premiere very often? Is it that like, I guess like did you ever have that growing up? Did you have that a lot doing acting, where like, a lot of people would give you praise, or is this something a little bit newer?
That's a good question.
That is something that is newer, I guess.
Is
But
that a part of it, or maybe it's not?
the first thing that they really try to train out of you as an actor is to get used to watching yourself,
Yeah.
which is
Yes.
not really my
Yes.
problem.
Yeah.
Like if I'm in a room with you guys, or if I shoot a self tape of a scene, I can watch it back, see what I'm doing, see the notes I need to make, and fix it.
Yeah.
That is what they train out of you
For
first.
sure,
Because when you're first training as an actor and you're in a class with other actors, they'll tape all the scenes and you'll watch it on the screen. And in class, people will be like, "Oh, I don't want to watch," like, "Oh, whatever." And the teacher will be like, "No, you have to. You have to watch yourself."
And then you have to give yourself notes.
And you have to give yourself notes.
Yeah.
And that is, and I am fully trained out of that. It is no longer a problem for me to look at a TV with myself on it and see what I need to do better on. But to be in a theater full of 150 people that were there that night, and then afterwards they all want to talk about it after, and
bro, you're gonna have to get used to it. You're gonna be in theaters with thousands. Bro. That was a good question. If this is kind of new to you,
Mm-hmm.
You think you'll get used to it?
yeah. Do you think you have to get used to it? And then, I mean, for me too, I was kind of like, being in the dance world, you do get like some praise and all that. For me, that's why for me the premiere is one of my favorite parts, because I mean, especially for that premiere, I know those people are not going to bullshit me either. But it's like when I hear that praise, for me, I know I'm doing great. And then for me, that's a confidence boost. Like, that's how I get my confidence a little higher. Obviously, you have to create your own confidence with building, like, working on yourself. But when you hear your peers say, like, when I got the praise from Steve Park saying every shot was like a painting, oh my God, like, that's like from Steve Park. Like, if you don't know my man, Steve Park, like, like if I get that praise from Steve Park, like, that's, for me, that's like, holy shit, like, hell yeah, like, fuck yeah. You know what I mean? That for me, and it could be like that's why I said it's a great question. It could be for me just being raised in a certain way, because like being a dancer and always being on stage and always kind of sort of being in that limelight of that. Like for me, I was kind of like always brought up like that. Yeah. So do you think you'll ever get? I mean, you kind of have to get used to it.
I think it will get easier for sure. Yeah. And it's not like I want to watch the movie. That's not what I mean either.
Yeah, of course.
Like I love watching the finished product and seeing everything come together. It's really just that environment that kind of stresses me out.
The social anxiety is gnarly.
Do you also think, though, because it was close friends and family, like what if it was a group of random people we just...
Exactly. Exactly. I was that...
Because it was friends and family?
Well, no. I was that anxious and stressed, and it was, for the most part, people I knew.
Yeah, the closest.
Yeah, like there were people I didn't know, obviously, like your friends and family, but, now I can't imagine sitting in a room of people I do not know. And honestly, I don't know.
I feel like that would be easier.
I was just going to say, I don't know if that would be easier or not.
That's interesting.
I don't know.
Because
That's
honestly, all you can say is thank you so much and fucking walk away.
Yeah.
With your friends and family, you got to have like a whole ass conversation
they
about
know
like
life
fucking,
story.
There are a couple actors. I don't think I would do this if I have the privilege to make it that far. I don't think I would do this. No. Like Elizabeth Olsen, for example, doesn't go to the premieres that she's in.
Oh wow.
She just doesn't go.
She's never been at the red carpet for Marvels.
No, she goes to the red carpet doesn't go in and watch the movie. And she might have done it for her Marvel movies. I'm not sure, but other than that, she has said that she doesn't do it.
Interesting.
And I don't think I would do that.
I feel like there's another actor who says he makes the movie, he goes to premiere, and he never watches it again. Like they never rewatch.
That sounds familiar.
You know what I mean?
I know Diego Luna doesn't. I know this firsthand because the only time I met him. But yes, he does not like seeing himself on screen.
Yeah,
which is crazy because he's in Star Wars and
he's
like
fantastic.
A lot of, like, big amazing. Yeah. But he was like, no, I don't want to see it.
Yeah, no, literally.
Diego, dude, you're a legend. What do you mean?
Yeah. So maybe we'll just have to wait and see and find out.
No, but I think no matter how anxious and stressed I would be, I would force myself to go anyways.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which
is still huge though. If you're still down to go.
How did you feel like walking out of the movie? Because we talked about the movie, we watched like how we feel about watching the movie. How was it like coming out of the theater with your friends and family, with everybody around?
It was like the only word that I've actually been able to use to describe the way that it felt was just surreal. It was just like
speechless.
It was like like I think I just blacked out. Like I don't.
For real. So
I
bad.
really don't think I was there.
We got there, and then I was in Brandon's backyard.
Yeah, no, literally. Drunk.
I was in Brandon's backyard 6 shots in.
Yeah,
I don't know how that
literally.
happened.
Literally, because Mo and I drove back to Brandon's house for the after party, like together, just us two, and we literally sat in the car, and I think we didn't speak the entire drive.
Really?
No, like we talked a little bit, but
Me and
it
Brandon
was
were
mostly-
talking of a
we
store.
just listened.
Yeah,
We
there and
kind of
back.
just listened to music on the way back.
But like the music was really quiet.
Process-
We kind of just sat.
Processing.
That's
everything.
crazy.
Like I think Mo and I are more similar in the sense that like, well, actually maybe Dylan's the only one that doesn't experience this that much because I know Brandon does. But like social anxiety is like, not to say you don't experience it, but consider the way you grew up, especially in the dance industry and stuff, like you have been more exposed to that type of attention much more than say we have.
Yeah, that's what I mean when I said that too.
And
earlier.
like the social, like it was amazing. The premiere was amazing. It was the coolest night. But I completely agree with Mo. Like I enjoyed being on set and working more than I enjoyed the premiere.
Really?
Like
I mean, reasonable.
I was looking forward to the premiere, but like the anxiety was also like, it's difficult being someone who's naturally anxious because it's like, you can't, it's hard to decipher if it's just excitement or if it's just anxiety. And it's like, and if you can't decipher the two, you don't know if you're happy to go, if you're not happy to go.
Yeah, I feel you.
Or if you're happy to be there, if you're not happy to be there. Like it's really difficult. But as anxious as I was, I knew that I was happy to be there and that I was excited. But I definitely enjoyed like being on set. And also like with all the praise, like my younger self would have loved it. I was an attention whore. Like I would have loved that shit. I could not give less of a fuck about it. I don't care. Like this sounds awful, and I apologize. I don't mean it to be sound so disrespectful, but I don't care if you think that my work is good. I don't like if I don't know you, I don't care.
That's a great attitude for an artist to have, honestly.
It's literally the people in this room and the people that worked on set. Like if I never went to the premiere, those people were like, "Whoa, like set looked cool, like you know, like that's awesome, like that's great, thank you, I appreciate it." But it means so much more to me that the people that worked alongside me tell me that I did a good job than, no offense, Mom, that my mom said you did a good job. Because as much as my mom's opinion means to me, she wasn't there. And she didn't see the struggle. She didn't see the, like, I don't know how to explain it.
I get what you're saying.
But it's
I think
more
people
just
understand.
like the people that know, like the people that experienced it with me, their opinion matters more to me because they really saw what went into it. The people only saw what was on the screen and what was chosen. The people on the screen didn't see that I literally designed a book cover because that scene was completely cut.
Beautiful.
And that
that scene was cut.
And that I individually wrapped like a whole bookshelf worth of books with paper so that there was like blank covers. Literally, they didn't see that, but day of when I did it and when it was all set up and it all looked pretty and I was finally happy with it, and Brandon was like, "Oh, that looks good." I was like,
Yeah,
like in my in my head, I was like, Brandon thought I looked like it looks good.
Yeah, it did look great.
It did. If anything, that scene was my fault.
Yes.
Honestly, that scene is literally my fault.
But that's what I mean is like you guys saw what
I get
everybody
your point,
else
100%.
didn't see.
Yeah.
And so your opinion, and also I just love you, but like your opinion matters so much more to me than one of your random family members that I've never met in my entire life.
Sure.
That's true. That's true.
I
get your
good job.
Yeah. I think that's maybe I'll not take back my statement, but I'll rephrase it in a way where for me that's why this premiere was really special because it was all the people that mattered to me.
Yeah, yeah.
So I think that's why for me this premiere was like so like loving. I think going back to that question, how will it feel when they're strangers? And I think I'm on your standpoint is I don't know them. And if they do say, hey, great job, that's great. But I don't know if they really truly mean it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because that's with any talent,
They may mean it, but like to me, it doesn't mean.
Yeah. So like, or like again, they could be straight up lying, like how like choreographers will tell dancers like, "Hey, great job," but like then they'll go talk shit like with their other homies, you know. Like I've been in scenarios in that way where like that's where I have trust issues. So if it's strangers at the premiere and they say great job, I appreciate that, but I mean, thank you. Like that's all I can say. Yeah. But I think that's why for me this premiere was so like uplifting for me.
Okay, that's fair. To my defense, my mom was there.
Yeah,
that was pretty much it.
Oh, I see your point.
My best friend was there, but there were so many people, so they ended up leaving like right after the movie was over because it was just the lobby was so crowded. But like you guys did have a lot of family and a lot of friends there.
Yeah.
I am not a California local.
I see.
All my family is in North Carolina, and my mom just happened to be out here during the premiere.
Yeah.
And I have a couple friends, but some of them just like weren't like able to make it or whatever. So like for me it was just like my mom was there.
But I think you would have the same reaction as what I'm feeling is because these people like my whole like dance family, like Ricky, Hart, like
people
all
that I like grew up with.
Yeah,
and,
exactly.
Definitely.
The people I grew up with, like that mean a lot to me, were there. So like hearing their opinions, that's why it was special for me.
Yeah.
But I think I'm on the same wavelength of like with strangers, and I think you would have the same reaction what I did if you had family.
Yeah, you're probably right.
You know what I mean?
I want to hear what Brandon thinks though.
I mean, the mastermind. I mean,
and I talked about this a little bit when we were drunk.
Yes, we did
at the after party. But who remembers that?
True.
There was an after party.
There was an after party.
Yeah, what happened that night, bro?
Dude, just a lot of good times. Bro.
Oh,
just a lot of great times.
Okay.
Cut that, bro.
But Brandon, your thoughts.
Brandon, before we end
thoughts.
it, come on, your thoughts, mastermind.
Dude, so many. Mixed of emotions for sure. I love. Yeah, a lot of my satisfaction comes from like writing. How well, like I think, I don't know how you could put this, but like I guess a big question I had, not even through Sanctuary, but before Sanctuary, is like, as like an artist, like what am I doing? You know, like what am I gonna like? What's my point? Like what's going on? It's just like the things that like you're like artistic, like insecurities and stuff like that. But there are things that I didn't play with because a lot of the movie ideas I have don't really relate to each other. So I'm like, okay, this is gonna be like weird when I do start making so much random shit that's so different. But the more I made Sanctuary, the more I put together like even the stuff that you guys hadn't seen at the time or like writing it and stuff. I think one of the biggest takeaways from it all was like I realized a lot as like an artist. Like I couldn't be more. Now I'm like I know exactly what like my type of art is, and a lot of people that saw Sanctuary were like it couldn't be more you. And it's funny they say that because like I'm like like I think I know what that means now.
Hell yeah,
which is like so satisfying. Because like in every project now I feel like with Sanctuary, like there were certain moves I didn't want to do, and now I know like the moves I didn't do and the ones I chose to go with instead are is
your style.
You trusted your gut.
In a sense, I could see it better. You know, it's a lot more clear than before. Like, oh, what do I do? You know, like between this and this. But for the premiere, I definitely kind of blacked out as well. It's a little. There was so much happening. I'm claustrophobic, and that theater's small, and I knew that going in because I've already been there. But that was something I was trying to play with a little, trying to be okay with the people that were around me. In a sense, I feel what both of you guys are saying. I do care. Like I want to make my family proud, so I do want to know what they say. Like I hope they like the things I made. I think I probably have cousins that were like, not what I expected, not my type of thing. Totally valid. That's fair. It is definitely not what they thought I was gonna. There were no time machines in this one. I don't think they saw that coming. But no, I walked away like, I can tell you right now, it's like sad because I do miss that feeling. Like like the high you're talking about, like. Man, I smoked a lot of weed, but like I've never been that high.
Facts. Facts. That's like the biggest high.
it's just like a feeling that like you'll always recognize. You'll always know when it's there.
Yes.
And when you get that, you don't want to let it go.
Yes.
So it's almost like when it's gone, it's almost like you're getting the, what do you call it? Withdrawals. Calm downs, exactly. Yeah, which is like the sad thing that I'm definitely going through, which is great because of course we're gonna make more shit.
That motivates you to do it again.
Yeah, it's really kind of like I was talking about earlier. Like you feel like you have the Maserati, but now you don't have. You just need another track to take it to you. The gas is in the tank. It's just where are you driving? You know? So I think that's one of the things I definitely took away. But when it comes to like criticism, I guess I really respect feedback. Like I love everyone's feedback. The big thing for me as a writer is like, especially with in terms of like what is going to be me, it's like I love emotion. That's in every character and everything that I do. Even if it's like a comedy, you're probably going to see some sort of emotion that you didn't expect, which is like just something I love. I love it when it's unexpected. Like a horror movie is like, yeah, now you're like sad. You know, you're like, oh shit, what the fuck? Like I love that kind of thing. But for people to come up to me and be like this made me cry, or like they're still drying their tears, was like everything like I hoped to have as like an artist. Like it's the thing I dreamed of, because I've never had a project where I got to premiere it like this, you know, or if I did have a project that I put my heart into, nobody really saw it, you know? So like, I guess, I'm not used to the praise as well. That's something I have to now discover a little bit, because I don't know how that works. I am socially anxious, so I also don't know how to like say anything but thank you. Like I couldn't tell them how much I appreciate what I do. But no, I think when people come up to me and say that they felt something strong, that's really, really what I wanted from this project. I just like, some people are like, I had people be like, I don't know, like, what was it about, you know? And that's fair, you know, maybe like it's not something you've gone through, but I know I wanted it for the people that had gone through it or going through it now to be like, wow, like I get it, you know? And that's really who, like, I guess this movie was for, besides me.
Dude, even my dad, bro. My dad tripped me the
Which
fuck
I will
out,
never
bro.
forget. I'll never forget.
Dude, I've never seen my dad emotional towards like me and him have different tastes in movies sometimes, but like, dude, I've never seen my dad like that about a movie, and then about our movie, and then
for him to be like, I don't really like watching movies and stuff like that, but for him,
he doesn't even go to theaters, like, bro.
Yeah, that's everything I could dream of as a writer, and that's all I want. Like that's also the part of the high.
Yeah, I'll
like,
never forget my dad's reaction.
Like if you felt that, like, and then I feel accomplished.
Yeah,
you know, you got something from this, and that's why I want, like, if when we make movies in the future, like I want you to leave the theater not like I'm just gonna log it on Letterboxd and fucking whatever, right? I want you to like Guardians, like it's hard to get that movie now for me, because we've seen so many fucking movies, but like I remember leaving Guardians, and now like even like sometimes recently, it's been so long since that movie came out, but 3 was just like, wow, like I still think about like certain lines in that movie or like certain moments that I'm like, yeah, like that's what I want.
3 is crazy.
Like a good movie is gonna make you feeling like leaving the movie theater like feeling like you're levitating. That's what I really want. Like I want you to either be depressed when you leave the theater, like fucking crying. I want you to like be happy, you know, have a great rest of your
life. I want you to be like on the verge of death.
Yeah. exactly. But no, I would say that was the huge part of it. I really love that.
I mean, that's why we make it, right? That's why we make movies.
That's why we make it.
To have people feel something.
Yeah, but another part of my satisfaction definitely comes from other artists, for sure. I love it when like an artist, if like a person's like, this movie's shit, I'll be like, okay, but like why? I want to know why. You know, like what you guys were talking about criticism earlier. I love that shit, because if you're like, hey, this seems like cringe, right? I might be like, I love that. Why? Like, what am I missing? And that's not something that's like offensive to me. It's like, oh, I like would want to know so I can carry that forward. So is it you particularly that don't like this movie? Right. In that case, I'm like, okay, there's nothing I could do about that. Or is it like, well, it doesn't feel good because A, B, and C. Like, you didn't shoot this right, or like this was whatever. And that, like, I can take away so much from. So, like, I'd say in terms of like feedback, I love praise, but like that's the shit that like I'd always love to know.
Sorry, I know you wanted to say something. Like there was that one shot in the breakup scene where I was like, this kind of looks like a soap opera, remember?
Yes.
Yeah. And then we took that shot out, and then you just switched it back to the other one.
We cut it way shorter.
I tried to adjust, shorter, kind of change the. Yes.
I remember you and Luciano made that note real quick.
Yeah, because it's funny, because I would have watched it again and again and never thought that. But when you said that, I was like,
yeah, when you said that,
I guess I could 100% see that.
It was a combination of the way that I was literally the way my face was and I was looking, the music, and then the shot.
The
I
shot,
think
yeah.
the combination of all those things just gave it
That's
a
what I
different
mean.
vibe of
yeah,
the scene.
Yeah. I didn't like.
sure.
Yeah. The shot. Yeah.
No, it's so valid. Yeah, no, I love shit like that.
Yeah.
It's not like a offensive thing to me. It means so much. It helps me improve the art in ways that I didn't have equipped already.
Yeah.
I just wanted to say, I think you kind of like putting the needle in the head when you said that when it comes to artists, like their opinions. I think that's what I was trying to explain earlier that I didn't really know how to explain is it's not that I don't care about other people's opinions. It's that they're like, it's so much different when it's coming from another artist.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that's like what I was trying to get at. Is like why you guys giving praise means so much more or just hits so much harder versus whoever at the premiere
An outsider.
is because you guys get it. Like you're
the hustle.
you're creative, you're artist, like your brain like works that way. And like not a lot of people's brains work that way. So I think that's what I was trying to explain earlier is that it's not that I don't care about other people's opinions. It's
just
almost
different.
like
It hits different.
it hits different when it's coming from someone who gets it. And you guys get it. And that's like why, like, if all there was a pat on the back from all 4 of you, all 5 of you, then I would have like just been happy. Like not going to the premiere, not
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, you nailed it. Thank you.
I feel I love that shit. Like if I remember the guys that made Talk to Me were like, yeah, like Ari Aster, Jordan Peele were all like going crazy, and I'm like, dude,
if that
can you
happened,
fucking imagine.
Yeah.
You know, the guy that made Nope was like, dude, this movie, I don't know what I would do.
Yeah.
I don't really know what I would do.
That's exactly. That's
Precisely.
Yeah.
Twice maybe.
and that piggybacking off that again, but like getting it from your peers is like so much better.
I was definitely anxious, but I think the biggest takeaway was the stuff that the movie did for me. Like the premiere is cool. I don't mind a premiere. Was my stomach in my ass? Oh my gosh, absolutely. And I had to talk to him too, and I couldn't even like finish the speech because I was too nervy. So that was definitely a part of it. But no, it is. I think the high comes in the process for me. I love praise, but man, being there, it was something else.
It was also it was done. The premiere with no no more stress for you editing wise. Like
You know what's funny? I miss the stress. Yeah.
I know it's good stress. It's like I said, it's a good tired. It's a good tired.
There was so much stress in this production. So many things that my computer was like, I want to ruin your day. And I'm like, oh, you are. But man, I would still take it over the silence.
But with that being said, guys,
It was quite the year, folks.
we made a movie.
Go watch it.
Go watch
I
it.
hope you already did, but
You fucking
The
saw
entire
whole
thing has been ruined for you if you haven't seen it.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything we didn't spoil.
Literally.
Also, if you have Letterboxd, go rate that shit on Letterboxd. It is officially.
That's true.
It's
Yes.
You can say that.
finally
Yes.
on Letterboxd.
I've done that.
Yes.
And,
Go log Sanctuary.
But again, we had the movie. Me and Mo the whole team had a successful season 2. Yes, it was cut short, but I still think we had a solid group of a pool of people. Thank you to season 2 guests.
Yes.
Seriously. Definitely next year we're coming with a different attitude. Right there. But definitely next year we're coming with a different attitude, maybe a couple different ideas lingering, and we're trying to develop how we can up the scale even more. Now we can talk about we are in the development of our next movie, written and directed by Mr. Brandon Lehman. That's coming up. The big scale movie we have Mr. Mo working on. But yeah, all these movies now are not secrets. You will know, in fact, and if you'll see the BTS, you'll see the fundraising possibly.
You'll see the crowdfunding campaign.
Yeah, exactly. And
you might be able to contribute to it.
But honestly,
You're paying for the movie.
and honestly,
hope,
if
please.
you are a young filmmaker or even an older filmmaker and I want to be part of something amazing, all right, always hit us up on the gram individually. We have at Garage Sessions Pod. Again, hit us up individually as well. you know, like I said, we have a lot of projects that are coming in the works of next year. This is the season finale. We won't see you guys till
Soon.
Yeah,
We'll see you soon.
We'll see you soon.
See you soon.
But we're excited for 2024. We're really proud of what we accomplished in 2023. And
check out the BTS video.
Happy holidays.
Happy
Be
holidays.
safe, everybody.
Merry Christmas.
Also, one more thing,
One
by
more
the
thing.
way, just because it's in the movie, if you want to see more of these guys, maybe me occasionally, go see Brando Visions.
Yes.
They are real. We have an account.
Yes.
They inspired the film. Go watch it if you want to see everybody. They're moments of our lives. So if you want to see what happens outside of garage sessions,
Yes.
please come visit us.
Yes.
And there's new Brando Vision episodes coming soon.
Yes.
They're coming very
They're
soon.
coming
Maybe
soon.
in the works already. Yeah.
Yeah, in the
Coming
works.
soon.
Like I said, see, man, we got so much shit coming.
Yeah.
Man, it's about to be
Fuck with
crazy.
us.
Fuck with us, bro.
Yeah.
Come on.
Kick it. Fuck.
2024 is about to be ridiculous. Like I said, we're very proud of what we accomplished 2023. And yeah.
Thank you guys
We're
so
out.
much.
Love y'all.
Just
Thanks for
do
watching
it.
the movie.
Happy New Year's. Merry Christmas.
Happy New Year.
Happy Hanukkah. Peace out.
I
All the
hope the
holidays.
video's done by then.